Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Happy Halloween. How's y'all's day going? Oh my god, it's finally here. It's finally the day. Plans got canceled, so I actually have the Halloween off. How nice, right? Ah, man. But it's still spooky as ever. Oh, the chat's broken. Damn it. Okay. Okay, give me a second to fix that, okay? Let me just... I know... Okay, I got this program that's supposedly supposed to fix it for me, so I'm just gonna go ahead and run that. The first time... They said the first time that you use it does take a bit, so... Let me just... You know what? Let's go get some snacks, because that's the only thing that I didn't prepare today. So let me go get some snacks, okay? Okay, I figure since we're waiting for that to load, let's go ahead and take a quick trip to the convenience store. We're just gonna pick up a couple snacks just to, you know, have some fun. Get in the Halloween spirit. Now just navigate to it. I think it's down the street. Halloween snacks. Halloween snacks. We're gonna get some Halloween snacks. I decided not to go trick-or-treating, so I gotta go buy stuff. I gotta spend money on Halloween candy. The good thing is it's like kind of going on clearance. Not really, it's still expensive, but you know, it's fine. Not really, but you know, it's fine. Which way? Okay, so just be real quick, you know, just follow traffic safety laws, you know, look both sides, make sure to watch your surroundings, all that jazz. Just regular good old vlog style content, you know? Who doesn't love a good vlog moment? Honestly, it's more like a navigation game because I don't remember which way the convenience store is. I think it's somewhere down the street, so we'll be fine, don't worry. I know this neighborhood like the back of my hand. It's such a beautiful day outside, look at it. It's so nice. I think it's this way towards the main road. Make sure to look both ways before you cross. I'm just like crossing the street because I already know there's not that much traffic, so I'll be fine, I'll be fine. Should be around here. Oh yeah, there it is. Right over there. There's no light right here, so I gotta watch. Should be good. There we go. Anyways, happy Halloween, y'all. What y'all gonna wear for today? Perfectly fine. A-okay day. Look at this. Such a nice day outside. I'll be perfectly fine. Okay, so I lived, but everything hurts and I don't feel so good. I would also argue I don't look too great, but I did promise y'all a Halloween stream. Oh, it burns. Okay, nobody laugh, okay? I think I might cry. Fucking hurts. Okay. Alright, nobody panic, okay? Nobody panic. Whatever y'all do, don't panic. I just literally had to crawl from underneath that van. Okay. Nobody scream, okay? Ow. Okay. You know, I stitched myself up a little bit. Did the best I could. It burns. It all burns. Oh, it's like weirdly cold. Ugh. Oh my gosh. The good thing is it wasn't raining. Otherwise I don't know, I would have maybe gotten infected a little bit. Definitely could be better. Definitely could be better. But it's still Halloween, you know, there's still a chance to get candy. Oh my god. Tis but a scratch, exactly. Welcome in Radioactive Penguin, welcome in Yurkun, welcome in Cheddar, welcome in Pleagle and Drooper. Oh man, welcome in Antonio, happy Halloween. What a day to start Halloween. Or not what a day, what a way. I don't feel so good. My ear burns, my face burns, I can't see out of my fucking right eye. Shit. Oh man, well it's gonna be easier to wash the like right side of my face so now I can brush my teeth better. My dentist won't scream at me. Ugh. I don't even know how I'm gonna eat now. My ribs are poking out, jeez. And then, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. My tail got ripped off! Oh, but it's okay. It's okay. It's a Halloween stream, it's fitting, right? It's totally fitting. So we'll carry on business as usual. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Alright, but welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Happy Halloween. Hope I didn't fucking scar you. Think I may have been a little scarred, but I'll be fine. I'll be fine by tomorrow. I'll just sleep it off. Oh, man. Alright, so how have y'all been? How's y'all's Halloween going? You know, mine's been relatively well. I did not make it to the store. You know, the ambulance kind of said go home, directly home, you know, after stitching me back together. Kind of Humpty Dumpty style. Very weird. A very weird way to experience Halloween, but it's something, you know, to go down in stories and stuff, be like, one time I got hit by a car. The good thing is I wasn't isekai'd because, like, it's always a gamble there. I don't know if I'm gonna end up as, like, an actual MC or, you know, like a villainess and I gotta fight for my life and stuff like that. Like, I think I got the easier version, you know? We have your costume right here. Yeah, I don't think I have a choice anymore. There's no amount of masks I think that could fix it. I'm great, just working on a Roblox game so I can make some money. Yo, nice. Businessman Cheddar on Halloween. Man, the grind is immaculate. Oh, man. But yeah, that's good. That's good. Good way to spend Halloween. I think I'm gonna clean after stream, so, you know, it's gonna be a relatively easy day. Gonna take it relatively easy. Doctor's orders, gotta rest the rest of the day. Oh, man. But yeah, are y'all excited? Oh man, Halloween candy's gonna be given out. Maybe I'll give it lucky and get some of those spider rings. Like, as cheap as the spider rings are, I kind of like them because it's like it's something neat that doesn't, like, I just eat it and it goes away. Because after I eat the candy, then it goes away, and then I don't have proof that Halloween happened. But the spider ring stays for as long as I can remember where I put it. And stuff like the vampire teeth. Okay, the vampire teeth I have a very complicated relationship with because on the one hand they're cool, but on the other hand they hurt to wear. So it's like, I don't know. I like it because it's cool, but I hate it because it's uncomfortable. So it's just like this weird mix. Oh man, but what's y'all favorite type of like treat to get? I think only once I've gotten a sticky hand. There was a video that I made, or a short that I made earlier today. Not today, a while ago. And it was like, yeah, what about the sticky hands? You know, those things. And those are really good things to get. But I feel like they're not necessarily reserved for Halloween. They're a good treat to have, like, in any occasion, you know? And so that's my opinion, at least. I don't know. I prefer them anytime. You ever like Okay, so back in school I used to mess with a lot of my friends with sticky hands and stuff. Like the very few times that I did get one, I would take hella good care of it. I would like wash it and stuff every day. I would make sure, you know, it stayed sticky, it stayed clean, and the only time that it would break was whenever I used it too much. So, you know, like I took hella good care of my sticky hands, and it like gave me a full month's worth of torment to my friends. I would just yank stuff off of their desk with it. It's very fun. I highly recommend it. Unless they're in a bad mood, then they won't really recommend it. So do you get your costume in real life? Yes or no? I did, but I'm not going trick-or-treating. Plans were canceled last minute, so I have the day off, which is probably better for me because like the adrenaline I had to experience getting everything together today, it's like I need time to sleep it off. There was so much time in the morning where I was like, maybe if I just sleep long enough, it'll all be a dream. Rich Cashew, pretzel M&M's gotta be top tier candy. Pretzel M&M's. Honestly, I've never had them, and here's the thing, I have a weird complication, not weird complication, weird, what is it called? Weird relationship with pretzels. I didn't like them at first, but like now, I kind of like them in the same way that like someone likes like Cool Ranch Doritos, right? Unless you really, really like them, most other people are like, well, they're not inherently the worst thing ever, but they're not that good by themselves, right? And so that's the part that I'm stuck at with pretzels. Like, they're okay, you know, they're good. I especially like them in the what is it called? The hot mix? The bag of like a bunch of spicy chips and stuff. I like them in there because then they have a little more flavor, but they're not bad. So eating that with an M&M, I've never had it. I know that they're a thing that exists because M&M was like, let's just add a bunch of different things to M&Ms, which, you know, go off. I appreciate that. But I never had those. I always stick to the peanut M&Ms. That or the regular M&Ms. Isn't it weird that the mini M&Ms like are better tasting than the regular M&Ms? They're the same fucking thing, but the mini ones just like, I don't know, they feel better to eat or they taste better. I feel like they taste better, but I have no reason as to why they would taste better. So here we are. Oh man. Thanks for subscribing. Welcome in. Happy Halloween. Oh man. I'm so ready for not being able to sleep today. I'm excited to see the different stories. I have had like a couple ones that I had to not read to like save myself the like, oh, now I'm prepared. Because the thing is, there's two reasons why I couldn't read the stories early whenever they were submitted. It's both because I didn't want to scare myself ahead of time, but also because I wanted to save the reaction for stream, you know? Because I'm really bad at reacting to stuff in the sense of like, once I know what's coming, I can no longer react to it as effectively as I did the first time, you know? And so I like that like authenticity of saving that first time reaction. And so, you know, I had to wait a bit. Oh man. That's also like, okay, so my brother, right, my younger brother, he loves rewatching movies that he likes, right? He watches them like back-to-back rewatches, right? I cannot do that because I remember what's gonna happen, so it bores me. Like, as much as I will stay entertained because like, ooh, thing on screen, right? Like, that's the only reason why I stay entertained. I remember too much of it, so I have to wait until I completely forget the movie and then be able to rewatch it again, and then I can enjoy it just like the first time, even though like throughout the movie I'll remember, oh yeah, this happened, oh yeah, that happened, but there will be like little parts where I forget the dialogue here, and so a joke hits just as good the second time as it did the first time, you know? That's very important to me. That's very important, preserving that. Hey, do my voice log instead of my text message. Yeah, I got it. Don't worry. I was very efficient with preparing everything today. I mean, you saw I even had a whole, you know, cinematic shot in the beginning. So yeah, don't worry. I'm very, very prepared. That's why I had to delay the stream by like 2 hours to make sure everything was set up. So yeah, everything's been thoroughly tested. Everything is good to go. Have my costume ready. Who is it? Ghostface. What's up? Nice. Hopefully you don't like actually murder anyone. Oh man. I think that's always the goal, right? You know, dress up as whoever you want, but just, you know, don't murder anyone. That wouldn't be the best. But yeah, before we go ahead and move on, because it's already like 2:14, then we got to get into all the stories and stuff. There's two things that I want to share. If you see in the chat, there is a link which should be pinned. So if you have any spooky stories, any creepypastas that you want to share with me, feel free to submit a response right there. I'll be searching through that after I, you know, go through all the ones that I already have pre-prepared. But yeah, feel free to share anything throughout the stream, and then, you know, I'll do my best to get through all of them, okay? And that, and then also if you look in the description, there is a surprise there. So yeah, I vaguely, like, how'd it called? I vaguely spoiled it on Twitter, but not really. I didn't really spoil it. I was just like, I wonder if I should do this. And so basically what it is it's a link to a wallpaper, and then the password's right there. And so yeah, you know, y'all can have like a fun little festive wallpaper for Halloween. And yeah, you know, it was made by me, you know, selfless promotion, but I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it would be a neat thing to do. So yeah, hopefully y'all enjoy that. Yo, I'll make a scary story. Bet. Welcome in, Julissa. I'm the same way. If I remember something from the movie, I have a hard time rewatching it. Exactly. Ooh, Halloween Paprika, looking very spooky. Yeah. If you go to the beginning of the stream, I got a little cutscene and everything. It's neat. I recorded the incident of which now I'm like this. Which, you know, should be fine. I'll be able to sleep it off, don't worry. I heal very fast for some reason. I think it's mainly just that I forget that I'm hurt, and so if it's not something that I, like, frequent with a lot, then I should be fine. So, told me I needed to put in my SSN and credit card info. Is that part of it? No, it should not be. Wait, for real? That is not a part of it. What? Okay, the story one should just be a Google form, so that shouldn't ask for any personal information, nor will I collect any, like, emails or anything. I literally turned it off, so it's completely anonymous, but, you know, don't be weird about it, right? And then the other one is literally just, like, a downloading thing. Oh, okay. I had to make sure. I was like, shit, did I put, like, a wrong link or something? Even then, what did I put, you know? Oh my god, don't scare me like that. I was like, no, a flaw, my plan. Alright. With that, it is 2:16. So once again, reminder, the link in the chat is to submit a scary story. The link in the description is to get a cool wallpaper for Halloween, okay? Okay, happy Halloween. Man, you didn't even give me the option or trick or treat. You just tricked me right away. But be sending out docs links. Happy Halloween. Oh my god. Like, for a split second I thought about it, because it, you know, the little jokester in me, the little prankster in me is sometimes like, what if I collect my viewers' info and teach them, like, hey, be careful with links and stuff, but I'm like, no, that's too much work. I don't want to set all that up. So I don't, because I'm lazy. But I could, because I know there's tutorials on it. Yo, I got the wallpaper so cool. Pog, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I stayed up late doing it, because I was like, at first I was like, nah, it's not that big of a deal, I'm not gonna do it. But then I was like, no, I really, really want to do it. And so, that's what I did. Alright, with that, let's go ahead and move on. And then let's go here. There we go. Man, I could almost swear there was, like, more stuff. Oh, there is. Okay, I just couldn't see it. Alright, so what we'll start off with is the first account stories, which I think I only have 2 right now. So it's not going to take too long. Then after that, I'm going to go through the links that I have. So... Is the music okay? That's the only thing that I didn't check. And also I don't have backup music. So hopefully it's all okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on so y'all gonna be able to read with me, because I have a hard time reading. But yeah, so the first one submitted is by Brendan. It was just like a short story that he kind of told me, and that one I read through it because like it was very, very short. But you know, I felt like it needed to be talked about, right? So I asked him, hey, do you have any scary stories that you'd be able to like share, or any creepypastas that, you know, you liked, something to recommend to me, right? Because the whole point is that I want to go to bed tonight and not be able to sleep, like genuinely not be able to sleep. Where's the wallpaper? It's in the description. There's a download link. You click there, you enter the password, which is ROADKILL, all caps, and then, you know, you can get the download. But yeah, let's see. So this is based off of chat logs on Discord. Let's see. The only experience I've ever had was at my warehouse job. Lights were flickering. I was alone. I felt something on my shoulder. Which, like, firstly, if you feel something on your shoulder, like, I wonder, did he check or not, you know? Because, like, I felt that before, where, like, I feel something on me, and I almost always look, with exception to, like, a couple times, where normally what I feel on me is something crawling, and it's just my hair. It's just my hair like brushing against my leg or something. But there's been like 2 times that I didn't check, and every time that I don't check, it's something. It's something that's not supposed to be there, whether it be like a little cricket, a little fly, a little mosquito, you know, something. It's always something whenever I don't check. So now I always try and remember to check, because I feel like it's how to say it? It's like one of those things where it's only because I don't check. Like, because I don't check, that's why it's something. And so now I check to like kind of make it nothing. And occasionally it is still something though. So it's not 100% foolproof, but I wonder if they did check. Like someone putting their hand on my shoulder, which like that's even worse, you know? Someone putting a hand on your shoulder is like a very distinct feeling. So like you're alone, you're at a warehouse, you feel that, and like it's just like he literally doesn't react to it. And shortly before that, someone was freaking out about some aisles where the lights were flickering at, and he was telling me not to go there. That one's kind of iffy, right? Because if someone's like, oh my god, the lights were flickering, don't go there, because they say don't go there, I think it's like a prank or something. But because they say don't go there, I feel like they intend for me to go there, and then from there they're gonna like prank me or something, so that I would avoid. But I don't know, the hand on the shoulder, I can't. I personally could never. I've heard so many ghost stories from like my aunts and stuff where they're like, yeah, you know, one time I was home alone, you know, sleeping in the like middle of the day or something, you know, they're taking a nap or something, or they're going to bed, and then they'll feel someone else get on top of the bed, and you know, at first they think, oh, it's, you know, my kid, or oh, it's my significant other, and then they realize, wait, I'm home alone, I didn't hear them get home. And sometimes like whenever it's in the middle of the night, they're like, whoa. I had this one specific aunt, my aunt, who told me she was asleep, right? Or she was like half asleep, and her partner was on one side in front of her, right? She then felt someone like the size of a man, right? Because you know how you can feel the weight difference between like a small child and like a grown person get on the bed? Well, she felt like a grown man get behind her, like on the bed, to where like it bent and everything. And at first she's like, oh, you know, it's my significant other. But then she's like, wait, he's right there. Who is that? Oh, man. And usually, like, they're just really scared. Like, what she did in that instance was she, like, kind of woke him up. And then once he got up, she turned around and, like, nothing was there, of course. But she was like, what the hell was that, you know? And all the other times that I've heard, it's usually just like, oh, yeah, you know, I fell asleep because I didn't think much of it, but then I realized I was home alone later. And usually it's nothing. It doesn't result in anything from what I've seen. There's never been like, and then I saw someone run out the door, you know? So they've gotten lucky there. But it's just like, I hate that. I hate that. That goes right alongside with like footsteps and stuff. Whenever you're home alone and you hear footsteps throughout the house, or like, oh, you hear something shuffling on the attic, or oh, you hear something outside of your window. I've heard that more than a couple times, stepping outside my window, and that shit like freaks me out, because it's like, what is it? And the thing is, it's probably like a bird or a raccoon or just the wind. Like literally yesterday it was just the wind. There was I was editing some stuff and I heard like kind of like a humming sound or something, and I was like, what the hell is that? And it sounded like someone was right outside my window making that noise, and I was like, what is that? But I didn't want to check because it was dark already, and if I checked and I saw something, then I have to react to it, you know? Then I have to be like, oh my god, there's something outside my window, and figure out what to do, and I didn't know what to do. So, you know, I kind of avoided it. But then later the wind blew like even harder, and then I heard it even more, and I was like, oh, okay, it was just the wind. So yeah. But nah, feeling something legit on your shoulder. That ain't it. And then the next one was by Stella, which she surprised me, right? Y'all remember Stella Cosmister, right? She surprised me because she was like, yeah, you came to the right person. I have like so many different spooky stories, because where they used to live, I don't remember where specifically, but they used to live in this little town where there's like, it has old history, right? And so it has a bunch of like ghost stories and stuff. And so they're like, oh, okay. So they sent in this one. Just gotta settle on one. The primary story, I get really nervous when it comes to talking about it. See, and that scares me, right? Because I've heard that from multiple people now. Whenever I was asking a bunch of my friends for like, oh, what's some spooky stories that you have, right? They're like, I've had multiple people now be like, I get nervous whenever I talk about these, and it's just like, that's crazy, you know? Because I I don't really get nervous whenever I talk about spooky stories, with the exception to like some of them. But I guess that depends on like the environment, because me, I was like, I had a bunch of, you know, EDM music going or whatever whenever I was compiling everything, so I guess I just wasn't in the mood to feel scary. But like for them, they were home alone and stuff thinking about it, and so I guess like that that's probably what instills fear. But the fact that like when you're retelling a story and you get the same like, oh my gosh, gut feeling as you did in the moment when you experienced it, that tells me it's gonna be a good story. Oh man, you should search up Herobrine. You can submit the creepypasta in the Google Forms in the chat. Then I'll be able to do it. Let's see, but I can definitely think of something because I do have a journal about spooky shit I've seen and heard. This is about one of the tales that freaked me out the most. The one that was incredibly real and never ended up explained. Not the unexplainable shit. Have y'all ever seen, like, there was a old, I think like 90s show or something, and it was like the world's unsolved mysteries or something like that, and I only saw a couple of episodes of it, but like the stuff that never has an explanation, that they're just like, and we never know, to this day we still don't know how it happened or what happened exactly, that stuff scares me, because that means there's no like solution for it. You know, it wasn't like, oh well, it just turns out doors made of this material make that sound, so we just don't make doors out of that anymore. Like, there's no solution to it. So that scares me. That genuinely scares me. Let's see. I lost where I was. Figure out the most. Never ended up explained. Usually our local tales are all about weird creatures or ghosts, but not this one. Which, that should say a lot. That should say a lot. Back where I grew up, by the time I reached elementary school, I started hearing people whisper about a place called Murder Shack. Honestly, like, I give it a 3 out of 10 for the name. The Murder Shack. Because, like, okay, this reminds me, this has a very weird memory for me. But in the back of one of the elementary schools that I went to, there was this, like, old schoolhouse or something that they used to use, and it was, like literally the size of a small house. Like, maybe the size of 2 of the classrooms that they had in the school. And it was just, like, a little house. But it was, like, weirdly abandoned. And so, it was weirdly abandoned. We would always, like, get on each other's shoulder to look in it. I don't know what we expected to see, but like, we always waited to see someone or something. But that's what it reminds me of. So it's just like, I don't know, it feels like something that a lot of places could be called. Because honestly, I could see us having, like, nicknamed it Murder Shack or something. But it makes me curious as to why. I mean, probably has to do with something that took place in there if I had to take a wild guess. But is it true? Because it said it's never explained. Most folks who look for it don't find it. The folks who went out into the forest, police or no one. Wait, what? Folks who went out into the forest, police, no one. It was always strange because the people who have seen it and didn't go inside have all said it was in different places. And those who've seen it feel a form of dread that follows them for the rest of their lives. They see it in their nightmares, almost like it was choosing who to mess with. That kind of reminds me of, like, the staircase in the woods or whatever. Do y'all remember that? I wish I had some spooky stories. That happens to me, but all the spooky stuff wants nothing to do with me. See, it's probably for the best, because like as fun as it is to have spooky stories to share, you know, during spooky story time or whatever, whenever everybody's just like, oh yeah, there was this thing that I saw that, like, was never explained. It just haunts you forever, and I could say this from experience, because I do have like just a few stories, and more than a couple stories from the family, where it's just like, what if that happens to me, or what if that happens again? What do I do? You know, because I already know that it's a thing that can happen. It's like, what do I do if it happens again? Do I have to react to it? Will something come of it? And so, it's probably better. It's either that, or possibly it could mean that you're not as aware of your surroundings, which is bad for survival. But, you know, at least you will die, or no, hopefully you won't, right? Hopefully, hopefully you'll be unharmed and stuff. But, you know, not the best in terms of survival. Not gonna lie, not the best in terms of survival. Oh man. Let's see. Dread that follows them for the rest of their life. They see it in their nightmares, almost like it was choosing who to mess with. That's weird though. Could you imagine, like, because it's an inanimate object. It's just a murder shack. Still, I never thought much about it because I was a kid at the time. I was more focused on Pokemon and Beyblades, as you should, as you should. Very valid. Stuff like that. But that stuff interested me because the true scary stuff was at home. Oh, I felt that. Let's see, but there was always this weird, illogical fear of the woods behind one of the elementary school buildings. My instinct would freeze me at the tree line no matter how much I would be pressured or tried. This wasn't like me. I loved being in the forest, but something would always stop me from going in there. I felt that, honestly. Like, like, it depends, right? If I'm at a public park with, like, friends and stuff, okay. It's this weird feeling, and I totally do get it, because there's this, there's two instances that I can talk about. Whenever I go for walks with my friends or whatever at this certain park, the woods don't feel that bad, right? So, you know, we go in sometimes, we like look around, and as soon as we see a spider, we turn around, which usually isn't too far, right? So we're not like wild explorers or anything, but, you know, we do occasionally go into the tree line. But there's this one place that was by another friend's house, and they have like a little track that goes around, and it kind of goes through like some like kind of foresty areas. I don't know why. Like, in the morning it feels perfectly fine, right? Because we walked it in the morning, but then like a couple weeks later we walked it at night because like she wanted to, you know, start walking more, and so we were like, oh yeah, we'll go with you, right? And so we walked with her, and we done it at night, and there was this like weird feeling of somebody following us the entire time, which we'd never felt before. And so like for me, with my family, we always consider that like that gut feeling is something that you really do need to rely on. So I was like constantly looking behind us and like looking over my shoulder, and like there were more than a couple times where we did hear stuff in the trees, but we're like, oh, you know, it's probably a bird, and we just made sure to like stick together and like always be pointing the light, you know, out to make sure we didn't trip over anything. You know, we just stayed calm, and that was it. Nothing happened, but it's just that gut feeling, you know? So me personally, I would recommend always follow that gut feeling. always follow that gut feeling. Sometimes, you know, it's there for no reason. There's definitely been nights where I'm just like, oh, I feel like something horrible is gonna happen, and nothing horrible happens at all. But I would rather be cautious over nothing than uncautious and get caught off guard. Survival tips from Paprika. Oh man. Let's see. And right here. Wasn't like me. I loved being in the forest, but something would always stop me from going there. I'm thankful for that because I'm afraid of what might have happened if I did. It wasn't until I was in Christmas vacation before graduating from elementary school that I finally understood why. As the bus was pulling away, I saw through the trees, as they had lost their leaves, a dark metal shack that didn't belong to no one else. That no one else saw. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. To make matters worse, it looked like it pulsed with a red or ruddy brown. It felt angry, hungry, maybe both. Is it kind of like what's it called? Monster House? You ever seen that film? It's like this old, well, not really old, it's not that old, but it's like retro, I guess? I don't know, it was from the 90s, but this 3D animated movie, I don't know, that house always creeped me out. You know, funny thing about that, right, before I continue, funny thing about that house, there was an exact house like that across from my aunt's place, and like it was weirdly abandoned. We'd never seen anyone live there, right? And I swear to you, in my memories, it looked exactly like that house. And it was so weird because like I hadn't seen the movie before it, and I remember seeing that house like whenever my aunt had first moved there, because we helped her move or whatever. And I saw that house and I was like, it feels weird, you know, it doesn't feel right. So I never went by it because, you know, I'm a smart kid and I trust my gut. And then a while later, I, you know, happened to see the movies because my cousins had gotten it or whatever. And so I watched it and I was like, that house looks like the house across the street from my aunt's. And I'd seen it multiple times after that. And like nothing ever happened. We never explicitly seen anything from there. I think I heard from my aunt, like there was one time that like they heard stuff in the middle of the night, but it wasn't anything like concerning. It was just like, I don't know, movement or something. But like nothing happened, and then it was just demolished and stuff. And what's weird is that usually when property is demolished like that, they build something else in place of it. That lot is still empty to this day. That was years ago. So I don't know what could have possibly happened there. Oh man, but that reminds me, so I know what you mean by that. When I told my friends about it, some of them got curious, but they all saw in that area was a burrow in the ground, maybe for a rabbit or something a little bigger. Wait, what? When I told my friends about it, some of them got curious, but they all saw in that area, but all they saw in the area was a burrow on the ground, maybe for a rabbit or something bigger. They did say something about it felt a little off though. Damn, so they just saw a hole and you saw a whole house. Sometimes I feel like I'm the creepy guy. Apparently I walk weird and I don't move my arms when I walk and all my friends say it's creepy as hell. Oh no. Welcome in, Spirate PvP. Again, 4 subs. Nice, nice. Good job. Oh man. I felt that though. It, like, sometimes I forget how to walk, so I walk all stiff. It's okay. Just relax and it's fine. I would always see it there during late fall and winter months. I'd point it out and no one else would see it. It was freaky. Wait, so you saw it like a repeated amount of times? Okay, that's creepy. That is kind of creepy if you like constantly see something and you're like, look, it's right there, and they're like, no, it's not. And I guess it's probably for the best that you didn't like, look, come with me, I'm gonna show you. Kind of like yesterday, that game with the coffee machine. Probably for the best. Probably for the best. I love Monster House when I was a kid. I forgot about that movie. I know, it's something that like not lives in my mind rent free, more so it's like a stowaway there where sometimes I'll forget it and I won't notice it, but then it'll like pop up again and I'm like, oh my god, that movie, that one was creepy. It was so weird too, the storyline of it. It's like, oh yeah, my like, it was really cute how the guy genuinely did fall in love with her or whatever, and you know, they were happy somewhat, you know, she was a little weird about it. And then she died and became part of the house, and then I don't know, it was kind of weird on some parts story-wise, but you know, it was nice. Let's see, you know the times that you feel like you're being followed, it's ACC spirits that want to kill you, but then you turn around and you don't see them, but you sense them? Yeah, I have a crazy story about that, actually. Shit, remind me after I finish the story. Yeah, because gotta stay loyal. Let's see, I would point it out, no one else would see it. It was freaky, but one night in my second year of middle school, I had a nightmare about that shack, being pulled towards it, but never in it. It felt so real. I heard a scream on the inside, then I shot awake. That morning, there was a report that someone in the county had gone missing and authorities had launched a search party. Later, they'd only find a piece of the person and a bizarre splatter of blood in a geometric shape. Hold on. If I'm thinking of geometric shapes right, that's like the same way snowflakes are formed, right? Geometric. Listen, man, I was really bad at geometry. Geometric shape. I don't know what that means. Geometric shape. Oh no, it's just like regular shapes. Wait, but that's weird though, because it's not like a splatter type thing, and it's not necessarily like a snowflake looking thing. It's just kind of straight-ish lines, like if it was contained in a certain way. That's weird. That's weird, but for for reasons that I don't entirely understand. This nightmare and cycle would always happen. Other people had the nightmares too, but the less attention we gave it, the less often it happened. But when I eventually went to college and moved away, I stopped having nightmares. Right up until I was 20, no killer was ever found. I don't even know what the only time we ever got any explanation was that it was bears, wolves, coyotes, stuff like that, but it was never said in confidence. It freaked me out then, it still does now, but that shack, or whatever it really was evil. It was the first time I ever got the sensation of I shouldn't go in there, and I listen to the feeling anytime I have it, as you should. You stay alive that way. I think that's it. Not a ghost story, not in a traditional sense anyways, but it still freaks me out because it was so incredibly real. Lives gone overnight. I've always wondered what it was. Maybe some mass hallucination or someone getting lost in the woods. Maybe it was a place of where a serial killer did or used to do their murders until they died and shit got super fucky, where a spirit came back to lure people and to torment them. Maybe it was placed over one of them Hellmouths area. Oh yeah, have y'all heard of that? The Hellmouths area, where it's like, oh, it's a portal to hell or something, and so like if you go near it or you go in it, like, oh, sometimes abandoned facilities can be that, right? Like that's how you can get to hell. That's weird. And then from the way I understand this story, it's that there's this shack that Stella can see. I wonder if they can still see it. If they went back there, would they still be able to see it? I wonder if it's on Google Maps. I wonder if somebody got 360 footage of that. Oh man. But from what I understand, it's this shack that they see. They always got a bad feeling one day they had a nightmare, and then a person missing that same day. Which, you know, that's probably where they went, right? Considering the nightmare. If it was a movie, that's definitely what it would be. And then multiple people had that. That's weird. For multiple people to have the same nightmare, that is weird. Damn, and then that means more people went missing. But I kind of felt it whenever they said like, oh, the more we like ignored it, the more it felt like it went away, which could be one of two things, right? It's either it was actually going away because you paid less attention, or it didn't go away and you just paid less attention, so you didn't notice it as much, right? And like my family kind of has not really a rule about it, it's more like an unspoken rule where it's like, and that's why, you know, we have so many spooky stories but nothing ever comes of it. We're not like, oh, you know, we got a priest or something, you know, we got this, we got that. We're just kind of like, ignore it. Ignore it if it's not trying to kill you immediately, and, you know, just like don't bother it and it won't bother you, and, you know, go about your day. And, you know, as much as like that doesn't sound like the best survival tactic, I can't say I'm still alive, so, you know, it has to count for something, right? Oh man, I don't know how much I can recommend that though. If you're in the woods and you hear like noises following you, don't just be like, oh well, I'll be fine. No, there's like much scarier things that aren't really creepypastas and stuff that are lurking in the woods, so I wouldn't really recommend just like, it's fine. But yeah. Man, mass hysteria type stuff. And the thing is, like, it's not like it got reported about having those nightmares, so it's weird that people, because like if they had been like, are you having weird nightmares, then go ahead and call this number, right? Kind of like that one story. There was this one story of this guy who would appear in your dreams or whatever, and basically, okay, so it was like, it started with this poster of someone like, have you seen this guy in your dreams? Call this number, right? And so multiple people started calling that number, but what the scientist said was that like, oh, it's because, you know, once you see a face, your brain never forgets it, and so it would put that face in dreams, and then people would be like, oh my god, that's the guy. And so like that's why, right? So it's kind of like a mass hysteria type thing, but like, I don't know, it still feels fishy, you know? I don't know, man, I don't know. Dreams are just weird in general. Like, sometimes I've had these dreams where like, oh yeah, there's these friends that like, and in my dream, I've known these friends for forever. And like, they've been my best friends since like I was a child, right? Like, since I was a baby, we were best friends. But I wake up and I'm like, I've never seen that person in my life. I don't know who they are. So it's just like a weird feeling. I would not recommend it. It's a very weird feeling. Oh man. But yeah, okay. And with that, we're gonna move on to some creepypastas that people shared with me, because stories are good. And creepypastas, honestly, like, from there, if I don't have anything after that, I'm probably just gonna go on to Reddit's r/no sleep, because that one scares me. That one genuinely scares me. The amount of time that I accidentally ended up there. It was funny, the first time that I ended up there, I didn't know, like, it was an actual thing and stuff. And so I read those stories and I was like, are they real? Is that a real thing? When you dream of the future, then years later and you realize you are the dream you dreamed about, but in real life. Oh man, I think I've only had that like one time. We had like a conversation, and then like I was like, wait, I recognize the conversation. We already had this conversation. And I'd be like, hey, we already had this conversation. And they were like, no, we've never spoken about this. It's just like a weird feeling. No sleep is really good, for real, for real. I'm so glad I know now that like they're like written stories for the most part. Some part of me still kind of doubts it, and it's like, what if they're actually real stories? But everybody just wants to be like, no, don't be afraid. It's real, but don't be afraid. You know, I'm scared to. I'm scared to really find out. But you know, actually, there is another one. I do have a whole like little video to show y'all that Cheddar was kind enough to send me to tell me about a spooky story. So give me like 2 seconds. I always feel like I gotta pause it right after that. Okay. There we go. Go ahead and raise the volume. Right there. Okay. And then let me share this window with y'all. Window capture. And right there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now y'all can see it. So this one is narrated by... Oh, wait. Oh, I turned it off. There we go. This one's narrated by Cheddar. He was kind enough to send me a spooky story of his. So yeah, the only truth can hurt you. If you don't know it's real, then no need to worry about it. Exactly. Because, like, You don't have to spend your days worrying about, like, what if it's this time? What if it's this time it's here? It's creepy. Alright, let's go ahead and listen to this one. Let's turn off loop.
Alright, I've calmed down a little bit so I can
Um,
properly tell this story. Because the first recording
can't tell if
sucked,
y'all can hear.
and I was very shaky,
Can
and
y'all
I
hear
was
good?
like
Can I get a
slurring
sound
my
check?
words. So I'm doing this again. So before I go into the story, a little backstory, right?
Backstory.
I am religious, and in
Hmm.
my religion, I'm Christian. So in
That
this
is you,
religion,
Cheddar.
we believe that there is this thing called the spirit of contention.
Hmm.
And in one of our verses,
I'm gonna look up what
which
contention
is,
means.
let me pull it up again, hold on. In one of our
Definition.
verses, in 3rd Nephi, chapter 11, verse 29,
Hold on. Contention means the act or instance of striving in controversy or debate, a striving to win in competition, rivalry, or an assertion to put forward in an argument. I feel like it's always important to know the definition of some of the long words, because then, like, you know what they were going for whenever they were, naming it and stuff. But yeah, sounds good to me. Pog,
it states,
pog,
"The
that.
Savior said, the spirit of contention is of the devil."
So it's like spirit of the
So with
devil.
this in mind, it doesn't sound like something you'd want in your home.
It does not.
And I can tell you firsthand, it is not. Right? This thing is terrifying.
Uh-oh.
It's creepy. It doesn't. You should not ever invite it into your home.
Yeah,
And I'm going to
yeah.
explain to you why.
Oh
So
no,
a few years ago,
Cheddar. Did you
my
invite it?
two youngest sisters were like obsessed with watching these like horror videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
With like anything like satanic, anything that like ghosts or rituals or evil spirits, they were
I felt that.
obsessed with it, right?
Just regular Saturday
So one
activities.
night, they decide that they're going to make a Ouija board,
Ah, not the
and that
Ouija
they're going to
boards.
use it around the house to try to see if anything happens.
Oh my
They're going to
god.
try to talk to the spirits.
That's the worst thing to
And
do.
it all sounds like it's just all harmless fun and games, but
It
it
does not
wasn't.
sound like that.
Because in the coming days, their personalities had entirely changed. They were more hateful, they were more spiteful, they were more just like angry at the world, angry at their family.
Not the
They
possessions.
they were just like destructive for no reason, just out of nowhere. And one night,
Mm-hmm.
while as this is going on, Palm had a dream, a bad dream. She wouldn't tell us what was in the dream, but it was a bad dream. And when she woke up, she saw the spirit. It was
When she
what
woke
we
up.
believe was the spirit of contention, or was some agent of the devil himself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was stood at the end of her bed, at the foot of her bed, just watching her.
Why is it
She said
always at
she
the
felt
foot of the
cold and that
bed?
she could not move.
Okay, let me just interrupt this story for a little bit, right? Because that reminded me of something that I. So I was like, why is it always at the foot of the bed, right? And then I got flashbacks, right? So Paprika may have had a moment growing up where she was kind of a creepy child, right? A very, very brief moment. I mean, it lasted over like a decent period of years, but I can explain why, right? But let me give you my parents' perspective, right? So you have this kid, Paprika, she's, talkative, she's smart, she's funny, just a regular kid, right? But she starts getting this bad habit where in the middle of the night, she'll get up and like you'll be sleeping, just like napping or whatever and enjoying life, just sleeping. And then suddenly you'll feel paralyzed on you, just paralyzed, just staring at you while you're sleeping. And you're like, why do I get this unsettling feeling, right? People, humans, have a sixth sense, I swear, where they feel people stare at them. And like, so you get this feeling, you're like, what's staring at me? Why do I feel so unsettled? And so, you don't think much of it. You open your eyes, you look around, like, oh, what could it possibly be? You see a figure of a small girl at the edge of your bed. Oh my god! As you're gasping, you realize, oh, it's your daughter. It's Paprika. And she's just standing there wordlessly, right? Just staring. And you're like, hey, what's wrong? And she'll be like, oh, I was scared. I don't know. I had a nightmare or something. Something like that. Why are you just standing there? I don't know. Okay, come on, come to bed. And then, you'll let her sleep in your bed, and that's it, right? Nothing spooky past that, right? It it went on for a couple years. My parents hated it. I would like, okay, now let me give you my perspective, right? I'd be asleep. I was a kid. I slept in my room alone. Uh, like kind of random times, I would get this like vibe of like I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel right. I'm scared, right? I would kind of scare myself, and I still kind of do that sometimes at night. If I think too much about creepy things that I've heard, I will like literally get scared of what I've thought about, and then like I won't feel comfortable enough to sleep. Nowadays, my solution for that is like use my phone at like 3 in the morning, look at like cute fan art and stuff like that, something to like calm my nerves, right? But back then, young Paprika didn't have a phone to spend time on. So my solution was, go to my safety net, go to my parents. But the thing is, once I would already be in their room at the foot of their bed, I would realize, wait, they're probably going to yell at me, right? Because the thing is, like, they were not happy about being woken up multiple times. Um, because, like, oh, we're tired, we have work in the morning, right? Very valid things to feel, mind you. But as a kid, that's not really something that you want to hear from your parents after you're scared, especially the whole nagging of like you need to be able to go to bed at and by yourself or whatever. Like I know I want to, but I'm scared. So I'd kind of like think about it like maybe, I'll be fine. Maybe I should go back to bed. I don't want to bother them, right? So that was my thinking. It was very like pure intentions. And I would get kind of frozen in this like should I not wake them up? Should I not? Because if I wake them up, then I get to go to bed sooner and I am kind of tired. But if I don't wake them up, then I got to go back to my room by myself. And like whatever bad feeling was there, I'm just going to have to, deal with it. And because I was like lost in thought, I would just be staring like without saying anything, and then they would wake up. And so, past a certain point, it did kind of morph into me just like waiting for them to wake up, hoping that they would wake up. Uh, and yeah, yeah, that was that was a weird thing that I did for a couple years. Um, like never did I never seen anything particularly in my room to where I was like, oh man, that's what's scaring me. No, it was just like a bad feeling, and I'd be like, I'm scared. I want to go with my parents, but they hated it. They don't talk about it as much anymore, but growing up, they'd oh my god, they'd always bring it up. But yeah, that's what it reminded me of. I was like, oh man. I was like, why is it always at the foot of the bed? But then I'm like, oh, I used to do that. And so, like, sometimes, and I know it's like not really the best to compare it to this because this thing does not sound like a good thing, right? So I don't think it had as pure of intentions as I did, where it's like, oh, I don't want to wake them up. I'm not sure. I don't want to be like annoying or anything. Um, but that is something that like I momentarily thought of. So I just wanted to be able to point that out. I played with the Ouija board on multiple occasions while growing up, but I've never had anything happen. The board never moved or nothing, sadly. See, I don't trust that. It's like superstition for us, but for us as in my family, but we're like, oh, you play with those things, you invite it into your home. And like it's not as keen about leaving sometimes. And sometimes it's like more destructive than it is whenever it first comes in and stuff. And so, don't fuck around and find out is essentially the motto of my family. And so we just don't touch that. Oh man, you don't fuck around, you don't find out, and it's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, sorry for interrupting, Cheddar.
And it was just watching her for hours. She said it
Hours.
was hours
That's the
and
worst part, I
hours
think.
of just being subjected to its torment of just it watching her. She said it didn't have
Man.
facial features.
Ah,
It was
wait.
just like just a shadow of a man just
Not the
watching,
shadow
not
figures.
moving,
Those are
not saying
worse.
anything,
Because it's
not
like,
doing
is it a
anything, just
shadow of a
watching.
man? Or what is it?
And I told her that I was like, okay, sure thing, whatever, mom. And I didn't believe it for a
Didn't
second.
believe her.
And
Oh
then a few
man.
nights later, I
Uh-oh.
I saw it in a dream, right? And at the time, none of us could really sleep at all. So I
Uh-oh.
had to literally drug myself with like I had to overdose on melatonin just to like be able to sleep properly.
Not the
And I
melatonin overdose.
saw it in my dream. It was the same figure that
Use
mom had
vitamins
described. It was the
responsibly.
exact same one, and I saw it, and it said my name. And it extended out its hand to me, and I didn't know this at the time, but you're not supposed to extend your hand out to evil spirits, which sounds like common sense, but little me did not understand that. I
Ugh.
didn't know it was an evil spirit.
You were trying to
I
go
just
in
thought
for
it
a
was a dream.
handshake.
So I offered it my hand as well.
Oh,
And before it could take my hand, I woke up.
man, that's good.
And so I went, I told my mom what happened, and she started freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that when
See if
you
we get an
extend your hand
explanation.
like that, when you
Yeah,
offer
okay,
your
there's
hand
an
like that
explanation.
to a spirit of the devil, then it is akin to inviting it into your body, into your mind, into your soul, and allowing
Mm-hmm.
it to take control of you.
Mm-hmm.
And that freaked me out as well. And then more people started seeing it in the house.
Oh,
My
man.
dogs and my cat at the time before it died, my dogs would stand at like stand at some random spot. Sometimes there's one of them, sometimes there's all three of them, but they'd stand at this like one spot and just stare off into something and growl or bark.
Not the
And then
growling.
my cat, it would do the same thing. Sometimes it
Ugh.
did it with them too. It would stare at this one spark and it would hiss, and then
You
sometimes
know
it'd
it's
like
bad when
run
the
away
dogs
as if
and
something
cats
had
work
spooked it,
together.
as if there's something there. And we could never see anything there until Dad got home. And Dad is a very religious man. He's way more religious than me or anyone in my family, right? He's
Hmm.
grown up like this. He's been in the church all of his life, as if I have. And when he got home, he didn't see it at first. He thought we were all going crazy, until he also saw it. He saw it lurking in his hallway outside of his door. He saw it as he would walk by our doors as well. He saw it stood outside the girl's door.
Man,
Just
that
stood
thing is
outside the
spirit.
door, not moving.
That thing is
We
stuck around
never
for a
saw it
while.
move until I saw it extend its hand in my dream. Then I started seeing it in my room. I saw it at the foot of my bed.
I wanna point out how concerning it is. Like genuinely, this is the thing that's sticking out for me. That it only like, allegedly, right? Then again, you can't really like have experienced everything that everyone else experienced. But it sounds like it only reached its hand out to you, which I would find concerning, considering multiple people now have like seen it and experienced it and stuff in various places, and only you did it extend its hand for, and you were like, "Oh yeah, sure, man, dap me up." Oh, don't do that. Don't do that to spirits, y'all. Exactly like he said. It's like inviting it in or whatever. It was mentioned in like one horror movie that I watched, but like I'd been warned about that before with my family and stuff. It's like when that's specifically why, you see something, don't interact with it. Don't like try not to acknowledge it even. And what they recommend there is, like, oh, pray and stuff. Usually what I do is I just go the opposite direction. I didn't know. Yeah, no, I kind of understand where you're coming from, whenever you first see something. I mean, like, I get it to an extent, is what I should rather say. Because, like, okay. There was this conversation that I had with my English teacher whenever we first read Frankenstein, which, if you haven't read it, here's like a kind of synopsis, because I don't think we ever finished the book. But it starts off with, like the doctor, he makes Frankenstein or whatever, then Frankenstein leaves and he goes to hide under this like old man's house, and then every time that his like son and daughter would leave, like the old man's son and daughter would leave, he would come out, he would talk with the old man or whatever. They became friends and everything, right? They were besties. They had friendship bracelets and everything. But then one day while he was there, the son and daughter came home early and they saw Frankenstein. And like literally right before Frankenstein was like, "What would you do if I was a worm?" Not really, right? He was like, "What would you do if I was like very ugly and very scary?" And he's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter what people look like. It's about what's on the inside that counts." And then his son and daughter get home and they're like, "Oh my God, it's a monster." And he's like, "You're a monster." And Frankenstein's like, "But you just said," right? And so that opened up a discussion in the classroom where it's like, "Oh, like the English teacher was like, I don't think they were right for doing that, something, something." And I get where she was coming from, right? Because I understand that too. To an extent, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't fair. That wasn't a nice thing to do. But also, I know damn well that if I see something not human looking in the presence of something that I care about or near me, I'm gonna freak out. It doesn't matter if like, oh, well, I would be a polite person to be like, "Hi, how are you? Do you understand me? Is there anything that I can do for you?" As polite as I want to be, it's gonna scare the shit out of me. So I'm gonna, fucking turn tail and run. Fight or flight, I'm always choosing flight. And so like I was kind of like going back and forth with her. I was like, and we weren't really arguing, right? But it was a civilized debate. But we are like, no, I'm pretty sure it's just like human reaction, fight or flight. We know instinctively, like, oh, stuff's off, don't go near it. It's a survival tactic. So it's not really like us being mean. Like it definitely doesn't come off as nice, but it's unintentional. Oh man. So like I get what you're saying, right? It just means that you're more polite. Like your politeness overcomes your instincts, which can be bad to certain things. Maybe one day you'll meet aliens or something that'll be really cool, and because you were so polite, y'all become friends and it'll be a good thing. Maybe. That's all I'll say. Maybe. Man, me and my mom had this same dream and she denied its hand when she woke up, and that's when she first saw it. Oh, dang, I asked her today. Oh, okay, so then there's more too. Okay, so then it's not as bad. I wonder if it offered its hand to everyone then, or if it was just like you and your mom. I wonder why, like maybe, maybe maybe it also did it to your dad too, and the reason that it avoided your sisters was because like they were the one who probably, right, invited it in with the Ouija board and everything. The Waluigi board.
I saw it lurking over me just as I slept. I just it was surreal, dude. It was not normal.
Yeah, yeah,
Whatever
I can
that thing
imagine.
was, I don't care if it was like actually a ghost or if it was the spirit of contention. I don't care. Whatever that thing was, it was real and it should not have been in our house.
Mm-hmm. Especially with
And
not paying
it
rent.
only
Mm-hmm.
went away when Dad got him and his brothers and the bishop from our church at the time to
Mm-hmm.
come into the house and bless our family. That's the only time it went away, which is strangely coincidental if none of this
Yeah.
was real, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
timings of this incident are just not normal.
Yeah, they're too
They're
aligned.
too
They're
much of a
too
coincidence to
sequential.
be considered a
Mm-hmm.
coincidence. And after that day, the girls have been like banned. They were banned from watching that kind of stuff on YouTube. They were banned from talking about it. They're banned from all that kind of satanic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been fine ever since. We haven't seen it come back. It's never come. It has never come back.
Damn.
So it really leads me to wonder sometimes,
What
like
was it?
what really happened?
Yeah.
Did we all really see it? Because we all say we do. I remember it vividly, as if it was yesterday. But like, even if it like wasn't what we thought it was, what was it?
Mm-hmm. That
Because there
unanswered
was
questions.
something there those few weeks. There was something. It's undeniable that there was something because we weren't all hallucinating at once. But if it wasn't the spirit of contention, then what was it? Is my
Mm-hmm.
question. But like sometimes I don't really like want to know what it was because it's
I
like
felt
over.
that
I don't want to
ignorance
bring
is
that back.
bliss.
I really don't. Because I felt true fear during those few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
True
Mm-hmm.
unbridled fear. But either way, it's gone now. We don't have to deal with it anymore, which is great. And yeah, that's my story. That's that's
Good
my
job.
quote unquote ghost story, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, whatever happens, I hope you enjoy your stream. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, hopefully that never comes back because like holy shit, that is freaky. Like, okay, let me show y'all real quick. I Googled something really quick because I know exactly what you're talking about with the shadow figures and stuff. That is something that scares me because I've seen like multiple different kind of videos of it and stuff where it's like they'll see literally just like a figure like this, just completely void, right? And the thing is, if it was something normal or like this is at least what makes it think. I don't know if it was exactly like this, but completely void of any light. There's no like reflection. And the thing is, with the way light works, there's a I'm pretty sure you have heard it. It's ambient light, and so like when a light source hits an object, the light will bounce off of the object too. So it'll illuminate the object, but then it'll also bounce off and reflect off of whatever else is around it. So that's why like whenever you like are wearing a blue shirt and you shine a line on it, if you hold a piece of paper next to it, you'll kind of see it turn a little blue because like blue light reflects off of it, right? So this right here, it should have at least a little bit of light from like, this reflection or whatever, like behind it, just like a little bit illuminated, but because it's so like pitch black, that is what freaks me out. And like I know, some of these are like, oh man, look, this is scary, this is creepy, but like I'm scared to experience that in real life, you know what I mean? Because what do you do then? What do you what do you do with that? So yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean by that. I hope that doesn't come back because that shit's scary. There was like this one video that I saw of like this woman, and there was like literally this kind of like fog mist thingy, and it was in the corner of her room, and she gave off such like mom vibes, and you'll understand why in a bit. But she was essentially, and this video was in Spanish. But she was like, "Why are you coming here, you dang spirit? I don't want you here. You know you shouldn't be here. This is the house of God, and like this and that, right?" And she like started saying Bible verses, and she was like kicking it. But the thing is, like, she kind of put like I don't know, yelled at it until it got into a corner. And it like, at first it was kind of big, but as she, started saying like, oh, this house of God, and we're like reciting, reciting Bible verses, like it got smaller and smaller. And then once it got like small enough, she like started kind of kicking it. And you could see it would like kind of move in like this fog way. And it was just so strange, Like, I don't know. I think about that a lot because I would not have the guts to do that. So, you know, yikes. Just yikes. What is that? Looks like a weird tree. Oh man. Oh, that's creepy. I know that's like probably edited, but that reminds me of like duendes and shit, which are essentially gnomes, and those scare me because they're small. They don't know what to do. Oh, look at the shadow figure. But yeah, hi Paprika, happy Halloween. Hi Godzilla, welcome in. Happy Halloween. Hope your Halloween's going well. We're talking about shadow figures right now because we just heard about one. Oh man. Hope y'all never encountered that. There was this one video that I saw too. I think it was like on TikTok. And it was like this woman, and I think it was a woman. It was, I don't know. It was someone. And they were like coming out of a hallway, and they were upstairs, right? And so they go to like the balcony of their stairs, and they're pointing the camera down towards their living room because the stair leads like downstairs to the living room. And they see this like shadow figure sitting on their couch, and like they just slowly start going, and it's like it doesn't notice until it does notice them, and it kind of looks, and then they're like, no wait, and then it gets up, and it like it's almost like it starts walking away, but then it literally just like fades away into nothing. And it's not like it goes behind a corner or anything to where like it disappears. No, it just like completely fades away, and so it's like so creepy. Oh man. But yeah, that shit that shit's creepy. So yeah, hopefully you don't have to encounter that again, because that does not sound fun. Oh my gosh. All right, let me go ahead and. Oh wait, I could probably. Okay, wait. Will I? No. Okay. I was gonna put music on, but I don't even know what type of music to put on. I'll just put on same old, same old. Oof. Loud. Right. Give me like 2 seconds. There we go. It should be good. Here. Nope, okay. Right here. And right there. I wish there was a way to like make it go slower, but but not too slow. Put this as Halloween. It might be copyrighted. I'm not not sure. I don't want to get hit by the copyright hammers. That's the only thing I'm afraid of. That's why I like didn't just want to play a bunch of creepypastas videos and stuff. But yeah, okay. This one was recommended by Gas with Grass, who helps me with the editing and stuff. So let's see. So when they recommended to me, Anansi's Goatman story. Is it like the Goatman Forbridge? Saved from fortunes. 1:31 Eastern time. Okay, slightly edited slightly to improve grammar and flow. Okay, bet. Here's my story. I'm 16. Black and have a family down in Alabama. They farm and own a huge amount of land down in Huntsville. Uncle owns a big house and a bunch of trailers that they put out in the woods for hunting and camping. Down south, cousins suggest that we go out there to camp. No, I'm a city kid from Chicago, so they tease the fuck out of me. Collect food, kill a pig and some chickens, bring necessities to camp out for a few days. When we get to the camp, it's obvious something is weird. The air is like this weird electric smell, like right before a storm, like ozone. I don't know what that means. Like, I know, like, whenever it's about to rain, it gets, like, the air smells damp, if that makes any sense. But, like, I don't know what it means to... Can y'all smell thunder? Can any of y'all smell like, oh, it's gonna be a thundery day today? Because the only time that I know it's gonna be thundery is, whenever I see it already. That or I hear the crackle. I don't know how to, like, necessarily pick it out beforehand. We think nothing of it. unpack and go down the little creek for a swim for a few hours. All of a sudden, some older white guy and a white teenager come out of the bushes. He has a shotgun in the crook of his arm and says hello and asks us what we're doing this far back in the woods. Tell him about my uncle, who he knows, and say we're camping out. He tells us that we need to be real careful out here and stick together. There's a big animal in the woods. His son, who's my age, asks if he can hang out with us. He says okay. Oh, okay. So then they're hanging out together. We want to stop green texting because the story is fairly long and the format is harder to write in. Okay. So we end up playing football, dicking around with me, and there's this white kid Tanner, 5 of my cousins, and then 4 of their friends. In total, there are 5 girls, 6 boys. We're all around 15 and 17. We end up just dicking all day. So we head back to the camp, pulling out some stuff for campfire, even though the trailers both had kitchenettes. Tanner says that his family's property sits up against my uncle's. He wants to run home and ask his dad if he can come out camping with us. You're gonna let him go alone? My cousin Rooster says he's going to go out with him. Okay, since it's going to get dark soon. One of the girls also wants to tag along. Okay, so 3 of them split up. This feels like a math problem. Let's see, 5 and 4, so there's 9 of them. 3 of them go away, so there's 6 left with the main character. Or 6 including the main character, and then 3 of them go away. It's about 7 o'clock, and it's starting to get pretty dark. They take flashlights. Oh, I forgot to hit. There we go. They take flashlights and take the trail towards Tan's property. The rest of us chill, we make s'mores, drink and kiss on the girls. Okay, about 30-40 minutes later, there's a smell of ozone again. You could smell it over the fire we had started. Real nasty, coppery smell, like right after you've had a nosebleed and it stopped. Oh, it wasn't exactly like dried blood, but it was like a nasty metallic back of your throat smell. Oh, I know what that means. I know what that is. Oh. Wait. If that fills the air, that's weird, because it's one thing to like smell it on yourself, just be like, oh, okay, well this is a weird smell to have, but to have it just come up randomly. We immediately think that it's some kind of electrical malfunction, or someone left a hot plate on or some shit. We search the trailers and nothing is on, and we can smell it. All of a sudden we can hear people booking down the path towards us. And Rooster, Tan, and the girl all come running into the clearing out of breath, and they don't even break the stride. They all run into the trailer right by where the fire is. We all get the fuck out of there and into the trailers. They end up calming down. Even Rooster's crying his fucking eyes out at this point. All the while, the fire is getting lower and lower. So my other cousins say fuck it and are about to go outside and get the generator out of the shed between the trailers. Tanner goes, fuck it, fuck no, lock the door, ain't nobody going outside. He's been crying too. His eyes are bloodshot and puffy. His pants are dirty as shit. He goes on to tell us that they went up to his house. His father said sure he could go out camping, but to make sure they were careful on the way back and maybe they should take one of the hunting rifles just in case. Evidently Tanner had seen something in their yard a few days before. One of the pigs had come up, ripped up, and half eaten. Wait, okay. And I don't know much about farming, right? Because I, you know, anime girl online, not a farm girl. From what I know, one of the like biggest things to worry about in the woods and stuff, like depending on certain areas, right? In some things it might be more so bears and more so mountain lions, but another thing, especially with farmland, is pigs, because wild pigs, from what I know, and you know, it's okay if I'm not wrong, or it's okay if I'm wrong. From what I know, pigs eat people sometimes, like they're very hostile and stuff. So the fact that a pig, oh wait, okay, it's one of their pigs, that makes it a lot different. I thought it was like a wild pig that had come torn up, because wild pigs are aggressive. So whatever that tore it up, it's probably more aggressive, which like that is concerning. That is concerning in and of itself. But no, it's just one of their pigs, which isn't as bad because their own pigs is domesticated pigs, which are very different, I think. I don't know how owning a pig is, but they seem a lot more docile, so it's not as bad. But ripped up and half eaten. They assumed it was just some big cats or coyotes, even though they don't usually fuck with live animals. Big cats or coyotes. Okay. Yeah, no, as far as I know, they're not really scavenging animals, so it's not that big of a deal, but I guess it is a little weird. He had gone upstairs and packed his stuff and told his dad they would be okay without the rifle because coyotes avoid people, so they start walking back towards where we were camping. Sister finally stops crying and shaking. The girl already had, but she was just staring out the window with a dumb look on her face. He says they had gotten halfway into the woods towards the camp when they started to hear shit in the forest. It's almost pitch black by this time, so they weren't sure at first what the fuck it was. The girl says she heard something in the bushes right off the trail, and they all beamed their flashlights over there. There was something standing in the woods in a little hollow. Rooster said they shouted at him and told him that he was scaring the fuck out of them and what a dick he was. Oh, so it was... Oh yeah, it's someone. He says that's when they realized that the guy was facing away from them, so they kept walking and they started smelling nasty coppery ozone smell. They say that they look off into the forest on the opposite side. It's the dude standing in the forest, backwards, slightly closer to the path. See, that's your number one mistake. Never. If you see someone in the middle of the woods, just like being creepy, being weird, you know, staring off into the distance, or just like not saying anything, especially when they're non-responsive, or if they're being creepy and responsive, that's also a red flag. Don't turn your back on them. Don't like turn away from them and ignore them and stuff. That's not something that you ignore. Once you see something, and it's not one of those instances where you see it, you look away, and then you notice it, and you're like, wait, what was that? If it's not one of those, and you like fully notice it, and you're just having like a staring competition, do not let that thing out of your sight. That's a bad survival tactic. You keep that thing in your sight, and if you want to flee, you like try and slowly back away to see if it's gonna run towards you. This does not work with, you know, wild animals. So if it's a wild animal, do your best. I don't know how to survive a wild animal encounter, but it's creepy things, as far as I know. Back away slowly. If it doesn't chase you, keep backing away slowly till you're far enough, and then book it. Book it, and, you know, make sure to be conscious about, like, where you're going. If you know, like, oh, there's, you know, a widely used, like, street over there, there's a main road over there, there's always, like, people there, go there. Go where there are more people, you know, safety in numbers and such. If you're out in the middle of the woods, get back to some type of safety. If all you have is a tent, you're kind of fucked. You're kind of fucked, I'm not gonna lie. Oh man, I don't know what to do in that case. But yeah, no, do not let things out of sight. That's like asking for death. Look off the path, opposite side, dude standing slightly closer to the path. Now they start power walking, time keeps going. I should have taken the fucking rifle. Yeah, you should have. Welcome in, Alexis. Happy Halloween. Hope your Halloween's going well, and if not, I hope it gets better. I'm trying to get as scared as I can. I'm at least a little unsettled right now. As they're telling the story, the smell is super strong even inside the cabin. They say that after they started walking faster, a kind of low gibbering had started coming from both sides of the woods. And as they started booking it back to the trail, the girl said she had flashed her flashlight out into the woods to the side of them, and they had seen something jerking itself through the woods. The gibbering just got louder and louder, and they could see the light from our campfire. Something had come out of the woods about 40 yards behind them onto the track, and they just had flat out ran as hard as they could to the trailer. So we're out in the fucking woods, and we're assuming at this point it's some rednecks or some shit trying to fuck with us. All of a sudden, my other cousin Junior starts going on about how he went to school with native kids, and they were telling him something about the goat man or some shit. We promptly tell him to shut the fuck up because we don't need any spooky talk right now. I felt that whenever like something's going on, your first instinct isn't really to be like, oh man, it's a skinwalker, it's a ghost, it's a poltergeist, you know, something. It's just like there is something out there that does not seem that friendly, you know, because if it's charging towards you, it's probably not friendly. Yes, happy Halloween to you too. Pog, if you get scared easily, feel free to go watch something that's like less spooky, because yes, I'm intentionally trying to get scared, so hopefully I get spooked. But yeah, honestly, it's probably better. Like, it is kind of like just a little bit of a good survival tactic to try not to think of spooky stuff, unless it like explicitly shows like, oh, it was floating and it had a really long neck and it was definitely not human and not any animal that I know, you know. Then, you know, you can start thinking about like, oh, spooky, what could it have been? But it's good to try not to panic in moments of like, there's something chasing us. Oh man. But he just keeps going on and on about how it's a fucking goat man and how we're in his woods, blah blah blah. Have y'all seen that, like, that one, what is it? BuzzFeed. It's like BuzzFeed Undercover or BuzzFeed Undiscovered. I don't know, something like that. BuzzFeed, the ghost stories one, right? With I don't even remember their name. It's been so long, but they went to the Goatman Bridge. This is my bridge now, Goatman. Yes, exactly. Radioactive Penguin. That's what I was thinking of. Oh man. Now at that time, I've never heard of this goat man or any of that, but then a couple years ago, the year before I graduated from college, I had a minimum for a roommate, and I ended up asking him about it. And to sum it up, basically, it's a fucking man with the head of a goat, and he can shapeshift. He gets among groups of people to terrorize him. It's supposed to be like a Wendigo, but no. And it's bad mojo to even talk about it, and even worse if you see it, right? Like, okay, so the thing is, like, worse if you talk about it. That is something that I do believe, that, like, you become BuzzFeed Unsolved. Yes, that one. Oh my gosh. I loved watching them. I watched, like, so many other documentaries and stuff. It was just interesting, you know? I like hearing stuff like that. But yeah, I do believe, like, to an extent, right? Or at least I know you get yourself into more paranoia if you're, like, actively listening to all that type of stuff, because I do know that I get more anxiety if I watch, like, those spooky documentaries or stuff that freaks me out and stuff at night. But yeah, that's, like, there was a while where my mom was like, okay, it's very, like, weird to say it, but essentially my family, they don't like talking about, like, they don't have the spooky stories. Like, this is something consistently that my family does. They don't have the spooky time stories, right? Because it's not something intentional, right? It's not something that they're like, oh, it's time for spooky stories, everybody gather around, you know? It's just something that tends to come up, right? But it always, always, always comes up in the morning. In, like, bleak mornings, so like 8 a.m, 10 a.m, somewhere around then, they'll be, you know, sitting around having breakfast, drinking coffee or something, and that's when they'll start bringing up, oh man, you remember cousin George? Yeah, he saw this. And you remember Uncle Tony? Yeah, he saw this and that and this and that, you know? Like, that always comes up in the morning, and they never explicitly said it, but it was kind of insinuated one time, because, like, I was asking, I think it was one of my aunts or something, like, at night, oh, didn't you tell me, like, a story about this or something? What was it again? Could you, like, tell me it again? Or, like, oh, have you ever seen something like this? You know, something related to, like, I wanted to hear more ghost stories. And she was like, no, not right now. And I was like, oh, why? You know, you're not doing anything. And she was just kind of like, it's like bad luck. And the thing is, like, we're not like, because, like, from what I've heard, people from tribes and stuff, they also have, like, various superstitions that, like, are somewhat related. Stuff like, oh, you're not supposed to whistle ever, and, like, you know, stuff like that, right? And so it's so weird that it's, like, I know, like, other cultures, too, have stuff like that, where it's, like, you're not supposed to really, like, talk about it too much, because it's almost like you're inviting the spirit to... And there was, like, a way that it was either the church, like, there at one point there was, like, a church that I went to, and they had, like, kind of said you're okay, so I'm gonna try and put it in plain terms as I can. You're giving it rent-free room in your head, essentially, but, like, imagine that more formal, where it's like you're thinking about it, you're giving it space to kind of live in your life or whatever, and that's why it's bad luck, because it's almost like it already has a key to your life and stuff like that. And so it sucks, because whenever you hear about stuff, especially on the internet now that we have, like, access to the entire world, you hear about all these other spooky stories and stuff, and it's like, shit. I hear about this ghost that's, like, all the way in Malaysia, and now I'm worried that it's gonna pull up on me, and I'm gonna forget what the solution was, you know? Like, oh, this is how you actually avoid it, or this is the right thing to do. I'm gonna forget that, and then I'm gonna be screwed whenever it comes out, you know? Like... And that's one of the reasons why I don't like watching the scary stories at night and stuff. Because it's like, I feel like the chance is higher. Even though, you know, it's all superstition. Don't be, you know, afraid of your own shadow and stuff. But it is something that freaks me out a little bit. So I get what they mean by that. It's bad mojo to talk about it. It sucks. You're renting it a room. Exactly. You're just like, oh yeah, come on in, Mr. Spooky Scary. Oh man, bad mojo to even talk about it. Even worse if you see it. Keep in mind, I didn't know this back then when I was 16, so my cousin is the goat man's going to get in and fucking get us. Girls are all terrified, and my cousins and I are all fucking trying to figure out if it's just some hillbillies or if it's some animals, so all of a sudden the smell goes away. Like, to this day, I haven't even experienced anything like it. Like, usually the smell fades away or lessens. It was just literally there 1 second, and not the second. So it's after an hour, we're making it around 9 or 10. So we've stopped shooting bricks enough to go back outside and stoke the fire again. We figure it's just some assholes trying to fuck with us so we don't go back home. Yeah, because if we think we do, they'll chase us through the woods or some crazy shit. Nothing else weird happens at night. We stay another night, and for the main part of the night, nothing happens. So it's about 1 in the morning. We're outside getting drunk, telling ghost stories. As someone, see, there it is. You know, don't tell ghost stories at night. They have a higher chance of coming out. I swear. I swear it's real. And you can like feel it in your gut to some extent. I don't know if y'all get this feeling, but I get this feeling where it's like at night if I start getting scared, it's even worse than getting scared in the morning, right? Because in the morning, what I'm scared of is being alone whenever I'm thinking about scary stuff, because it's like, oh man, if something comes out, I'm not gonna have someone to like, you know, latch onto and stuff. But there's still people out about in the day, so I know that if something comes out, I can like run outside, and you know, usually there's gonna be people and stuff. But like whenever it's night, everybody's asleep and stuff, so you gotta like hope that they wake up, hope that people are awake and stuff, hope that people are outside, and that's probably what scares me the most. But it's like, it feels like worse to be chased by something spooky at night, especially with the dark. That's like an added factor that's even worse. As someone is finishing some too spooky story, I don't remember what about, the smell comes back. It's so fucking strong that one of the girls literally starts vomiting. I stand up and you can actually feel how clammy the air is. I say we should get inside, this isn't right, we should have just fucking left. We all go back inside, we're standing around, my cousin keeps going on and on about how it's a goat man. My cousin Rooster tries to shut him the fuck up, and all the while I'm just feeling something is wrong and I can't figure out what the fuck it is. Did one of them get switched? Is one of them the goat man? We end up sitting there for about a while. The smell is just as strong and we're terrified and all huddled in this camper. We end up cooking brats for everyone because nobody wants to go outside. It's one of those packs of 4 brats. We have a total of 3 packs. What are brats? Let's see. Google. Gotta have Google up now. Brats camping food. Is it hot dogs? Oh, it's hot dogs. I've never heard them called brats. Huh. The more you know. Or it's kind of like hot dogs, I think. I don't really know. Okay. I grill them up on the stove, give everybody a hot dog. I get mine. After a while, one of my cousins gets up and goes over to the pot to get another one. He starts grumbling about how I get 2 brats and everybody else got 1. I look at him and he's fucking stupid. I tell him that everybody only got 1 because there were only 12 brats. If he wants more, he should open up a new pack and cook some more. That's when the girl that had been out with Rooster and Tan just starts screaming, "Oh, Jesus the Lord, get it out!" She's crying and shivering. And then it dawns on the cousin, standing up, what the fuck is wrong? Me and him both glance around the room, and then I feel my heart fucking sink. I run the fuck out of the cabin and the girl runs out with us. The trailer door is banging against the side of the trailer as everybody books it out of the cabin. One of my cousin's friend asks what the fuck is wrong. I start counting us. There's only 11 now. Wait, I thought there were 9. Hold on. The numbers aren't making sense. Okay. Let's see. Digging around. Kid Tanner. 5 of my cousins. Okay, there's a white kid Tanner, so that's 1. 5 of my cousins, that's 6. And then 4 of their friends, which is 9. 5 girls, 6 boys. What? That's 11. Where'd these other people come from? Hold on. Okay. Digging around with me. Then there's the white kid. Okay, wait, I forgot to count the MC. MC, Tanner, 5 cousins, which is 7. And then 4 their friends. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, it checks out. I just couldn't count. Happy Halloween, humans. Welcome in, Karen. It is spooky time. I'm doing math during spooky time because I didn't count correctly. And welcome in, Darren. Happy Halloween. Oh man, we're listening to the Goat Man. Or we're trying to figure out the Goat Man equation. Let's see, there's only 11 out. Wait, so that means there were more people. I shit you not, my cousin verified. There had been 12 people in the cabin, but being that everyone didn't really know each other that well, nobody had really noticed the whole fucking time that there was an extra person. Oh, okay. Then I realized that earlier I had kind of noticed something was off. You know how when you're just sticking around having a good time and you don't sweat the smallest shit, and you don't keep track of time and certain stuff? I'm dead sure that someone else had been in the trailer with us and that they had been there for at least a fucking day eating with us. What makes it worse is that I could figure out which one, because I don't think anyone ever actually interacted with the other person / Goatman. So there was an extra ass person in there just like eating brats or whatever with them, and they're like, oh yeah, but nobody had talked to them. They were just sitting there like, That's kind of, okay, I know this is a creepy story, but it's kind of funny. Unhappy Halloween, what are you talking about? It's a very happy Halloween. My health insurance called to tell me happy birthday. Yo, happy birthday. Is it your birthday, Darren? I don't remember. I feel like somebody told me at one point that their birthday was on Halloween. Is it your birthday though? Shit, in that case, I'm gonna have to stop the stream singing happy birthday and everything. Oh man. Like, on the one hand, that is creepy, because then it's like at any moment, you could just be like, oh, everything's fine, you know, I'm here with my besties and stuff, and then Goatman's there with you. But, like, what if Goatman just wanted a friend? What if Goatman wanted some brats too? You know, he was like, I'm hungry! And so he goes with all these teenagers, and, you know, he's just kind of listening to their stories or whatever, they're all goofing around, he's like, aw, to be a kid again. Oh, these brats taste so good. And then all of a sudden the girl, like, he makes eye contact with the girl, and the girl's like, oh my god, what is that? And he's like, oh, every time. Brats or bratwurst basically are hot dogs but sausage. Oh, ma'am, I told you that yesterday. You did? Oh, my bad. And thicker. Oh, okay, so it's just thick weenies. Gotcha. But yeah, in that case, Darren, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Darren. Happy birthday to you. Ta-da! And happy Halloween. Oh man. I don't know, I feel kind of bad for Goatman in this situation. Well, it depends. If anyone gets eaten, then I don't feel as bad for Goatman. Let's see. So no one actually interacted with him. The girl kept praying to Jesus, and we're all sitting outside. Eventually we got big ass sticks and go back into the cabin, but there's nobody in there. We count again, and there's 11 people. We go back in the trailer, lock the door, we explain what the fuck happened, and the girl says that she realized too, and that when he was about to say something, the person sitting next to her grabbed her leg hard, leaned over toward her, and said something she couldn't understand. Oh, so was that Goatman? So we're pretty much scared as fuck as we huddle together, and I fall asleep. When I wake up, the sun is just coming up, and half of the people are asleep, and the other half are packing our shit up. We all want to walk back home, but like 4 people want to stay until the sun is all the way up. And some people think that we're just fucking around and still want to stay at the trailers. Man, they got balls. I just want to get the fuck out of the woods. The girl's name was Kiara, the one that the Goatman touched. Oh man, touched. Anyway, I asked her if she really thinks it was something bad, and she says she just wants to go home and she doesn't want to be out in the woods alone for another night. So we decided to split up. 4 that want to go back can go, but I have to stay because I have the keys to the cabin and it's my uncle's, and I have to lock it up. I'm super pissed at this point because I feel like people aren't taking this shit seriously, and I definitely didn't want to be out in the woods for another night. Spend the rest of the day trying to convince the rest of the people, now 4 girls and 4 guys, to get the fuck out of the Dodge. Tanner leaves with them, and they go get a rifle, and he says he's going to be back. There are just 7 of us left by 4 p.m. Around 5 p.m. he hasn't made it back yet, and we're extremely fucking antsy. And the only reason I stopped begging him to go back was because he went to get a gun. It's about 5:30 or so when the one cousin that did stay says the girl Kiara is outside. We all look outside, and sure enough, she's standing there by the fire pit, her back to the cabin. I don't trust that. If a girl comes back, you know, she's like, oh, I want to go home, and she comes back and she's just staring at the fire. It doesn't seem right. Totally blushing and crying right now. Oh, I'm glad it made you happy. Oh, man. Yeah, no, I don't trust people with their back turned. I usually wait for them to turn around. Like, I don't say anything, I just, like, stare at them intensely. Oh, it's too scary, man. Let's see. I'm thinking to myself, if she was so fucking scared, why the hell would she come back? Exactly. And then I get this nasty feeling in my gut. Keep in mind, the whole time the coppery smell has been gone, now I realize I can smell just a twinge of it. I say this to the rest of them and everybody. And these people are the people that wanted to stay in the fucking woods after we had that fucking Goatman in the midst, is laughing at me and asking if I set this up to scare them. I'm looking at them like, I'm not fucking bullshitting you at all right now. I asked him why the fuck I would play like that, so one of the girls goes outside to get Kiara. She gets halfway to her and stops cold. Kiara starts heaving. I don't know how the fuck to describe it, sort of like if someone has their back turned and was laughing without actually making any sound. It was the fact that it was this fact that made me realize there was not a fucking sound in the woods. It was dead silent. Okay, that I've heard before, and it's like in usually creepypasta stuff or whatever, but like it does make sense when the forest is quiet, like quiet as in you don't hear birds chirping, you don't hear like wind blowing and stuff, you don't hear like little bugs skittering and stuff. It's usually not a good sign. Because when things get quiet, it's because they like feel something and or see something where it's like, oh man, that's a big predator, I don't want to get eaten, you know? And so that is a bad thing. Oh man, this was like later in September, so it's still fairly hot at the time, but it was super chilly some days too. And you could usually hear big ass geese honking or some type of birds or squirrels chit-chatting. So I step out the door and tell her to come back in the fucking trailer right goddamn now. She backs up into the trailer, we lock the fucking door, we pull down all the shades except for one, and to put a guy there and put a guy there in a chair to watch her. She stands there for about another 20 minutes or so. The guy turns to say that she's still there, and there's a huge fucking bang on the door. We all jump the fuck up and scramble out around the living room of the trailer. Wait, how big is the trailer? Oh wait, trailer's like a little trailer house. I thought it was like a little like RV camping thing. The banging is super fucking loud. So now my cousin is holding one of the girls, and the other two are kind of giggling with nervous laughter, and me and the other two guys are shooting bricks. Then we hear Tan screaming, "Let me in! Let me fucking in, stop playing." We go over to the door and open it. He stumbles in with a rifle. There's nobody else outside. Evidently, he had walked up to the campsite. Nothing weird happened in the forest, but he had seen a girl. Mind you, he said it was not Kiara standing there. Then he had gotten to the edge of the clearing. She turned around towards him, and the slack-jawed look and just stared him down, slowly tracking him as he walked around outside the clearing towards the camp. He said it wasn't until he was almost halfway to the trailer he had realized she was getting closer to him. She had started off by the fire, and without him even seeing her move, she had been inching closer. He said that he just ran the rest of the way back to the cabin, thinking it would open, and when he got to the door, it was locked. He turned, and it was about half the distance to the door. He looks around the room, he gets super pale, he pulls me to the side and whispers in my ear, "You know there's only seven of us in here, right?" I get that feeling where your stomach drops to your nuts. It had been back inside the trailer while we were sorting out who was going where. And then when we all went outside to talk earlier that day, it had just slipped right back in. Bro is just like chilling. Like, Goatman is just coming in and out. He's like, man, it was fun. Man's playing real life Among Us. Oh man. We looked out the window and there's nobody out there, so we recount everyone, and then basically I go over and ask everyone how many people were here earlier. Everybody says 8. And I say, well, how many are there now? They all do the count and they realize there are now 7 people in the cabin. So Tan had brought back a couple of boxes of ammo in his rifle, and he had told his dad that there was some kind of animal in the forest. He didn't think his dad would believe him at first if he said it was Goatman. He says that his cousin is supposed to be coming down in a few hours, and then in the morning we can all go back to his place and his cousin will drive us home. Now I'm really fucking terrified, but I at least feel better because we can be American and shoot the fuck out of whatever the fuck it is if it comes back. But then my cousin gets into this huge argument with one of the girls because she thinks that I'm trying to be funny and prank them, and she's getting really scared and I'm not funny. He keeps telling her that I'm not that kind of person. She says, well, how do we know the girl wasn't just Tanner in a wig? Or if it's really Goatman, how do we know that this is real Tanner and the Goatman didn't just kill Tanner in the woods and take his gun? So we've been getting into this huge argument about it, where me and Tan are like, we could seriously be in danger because at the very least, someone had been sneaking themselves into our fucking trailer without us knowing and mingling with us, and at worst, something bad is in the forest fucking with us. One of the girls crying, saying how she wants to go right now. Bro, like, El Bozo's kind of, because they were like, oh, you just tried to fake it, you're just trying to be funny, we're gonna stay out. Like, even if someone is pranking me, that would give me too much of anxiety to stay out in the woods. I would be home in an instant. I'd be like, nope, I need to go home. I need to go back home. Welcome in, Emu. Happy Halloween. Hope your Halloween's been going well. If not, I hope it gets better. I'm trying to get scared, but I keep nitpicking everybody's survival instincts. So it's like, it's decently going well. At least now I know whenever it gets dark, I'm gonna start being like, man, I hope nothing pops out. Oh, man. We're trying to tell her we shouldn't because none of us are walking through the woods in the middle of the night. At this point, the sun is starting to go down and it's getting a little cloudy out. We eat something and turn on the radio for a little while, but we can't really get a station out there with anything decent, so we turn it off, and about that time, Tan's cousin shows up. He was 19, I think. At this point, the sun is just barely over the horizon. He has one of those heavy-duty lantern flashlights and another rifle. He walks up the trailer and we whisper to Tan, asking if he's sure that's his cousin. He says yes. The guy looks behind him and all around the cab, then walks in. He kind of glances at all of us and looks a little confused. He says, "Hey, where's your other buddy at? I figured she would meet me up at the cabin. Is she a little slow or something?" He also asked whether we had been cooking blood in the cabin, because it smelled like blood in hot pans all the way up the trail. We're all like, fucking nope. But we asked him what the fuck he's talking about with the girl he saw. He had come down the same trail as Tan and had been using... Okay, he came down the same trail as Tan had been using and had come up on one of those... one of Yu's guy's buddies, standing in the middle of the trail, looking at him slack-jawed. He had asked her a bunch of questions, but all she did was just look at him, and then she smiled at him, and then he kept walking. She couldn't seem to keep up with him, and kept lagging a little behind him. He said that he asked her if she was hurt or something, and if she needed any help, but she just continued to stare. See, like, they're not gonna question that. I mean, I guess it kind of does make sense, because if I was someone's cousin and they were like, "Oh, we're out in the woods, but we saw an animal, could you, bring a rifle and, escort them home and stuff," and, they have a bunch of, like, random friends there, I guess I'm not gonna be rude and be like, "Bro, are you okay?" But it would off-put me. But, it's not like he pointed out, he was just like, "Are you hurt? Are you okay? If there's nothing concerning..." So I guess it does make sense. Okay. No, this one makes sense. He said... asked her if she was hurt or something, she needed any help, but she had continued to stare. Eventually, he had been walking and turned around to bend in the bend of the trail. When he turned around and went back to see if she was okay, the trail was empty. He'd assumed she had taken some sort of shortcut through the woods to our trailer. We tell him the whole story of what's been going on. I half expect him to say we're all full of shit, but he just listened, and then sat down on the couches in the living room. Tanner's cousin gets back to the girl. He says when she had kept trying to lag behind him, it kind of weirded him the fuck out, so he tried to keep her in front of him, but no matter how slow he walked, she was always lagging a little behind. And that he smelled this nasty smell, and it got stronger as he got to the camp. Eventually it got really strong. She had said something really low that he didn't catch, and when he had turned around, she had been right the fuck up on him, and he stepped back from her. It was at this point he asked if she was okay, and if she wasn't, him to carry her the rest of the way back. She just kept staring. When he reached out for her, as in to grab her shoulder, he must have misjudged the distance because she was off to the side where he'd put his hand, like she had moved while he was looking at her. So at this point, we know this shit's unreal. No, this shit's real, unless Tan is playing a joke, which we can tell he's not because he's almost pissing his pants. So they load up their rifles, we eat some more, we kind of just sit around until about 11. So this fucking day, every time I think about this, I just really pray to God that it's some huge prank that my cousins played on me and just never revealed it, so I would shit for the rest of my life. At around 11, the stink of copper turns into this actually nasty, gross, blood-like smell, like cooking blood and singed hair. Tan and his cousin Reese get the fuck up instantly and grab their rifles. There's like a half knocking, half clawing at the door, and I shit you not, there's a voice that sounds like when you see those YouTube cats and dogs whose owners teach them how to talk. It says this in a halting, weirdly tone. Let me the fucking stop fucking playing. It's trying to mimic them. It's creepy. It made my fucking nuts creep up against my body, and one of the girls just starts crying, calling on Jesus. It was so fucking obviously not a person talking. It didn't have the right cadence, and that's some shit that I never realized until that moment. But all people have a certain cadence when they talk, no matter what language. All people have a certain kind of rhythm when talking. This shit didn't have any cadence or rhythm. One of those YouTube cats where it just fucking sounded like the outside of the door. So now I'm in full terror mode. We keep yelling outside, "Who is it? Stop fucking around, man." Or, no, and it just keeps saying "in" or "let me the fuck in" for almost 15 minutes. Then it has a YouTube video link. Can y'all hear this? Hold on, let me pause on the music real quick. Okay, hold on. I don't think this should be copyrighted, so we should be okay. There we go. So this is a link to like a talking cat video that they're kind of referencing. Okay, I kind of see what they mean. Okay, it's like funny there, but imagine that being like, let me the fuck in, you know, like in that weird kind of growl that they do. That okay, I get why they would be scared. It sounded like this almost just not funny. Sorry for being on a tangent, but if you can't imagine how this shit sounded, then you can't imagine how fucked up the whole situation was. True, that shit does not sound like a good time. So the smell goes away for a while, and then for the next hour or so, you can hear someone basically creeping around the woods and shit. The fact that you can hear it must mean it's really loud because they're like inside a trailer. Every couple minutes, it'll come back to the door and say something. Finally, when the smell fades away, it's around 2 in the morning right now. Reese says, man, fuck this, and opens the door and walks outside with his rifle? No, you wait it out. You wait till it's broad daylight, then at least you don't have to worry about the dark. It's 2 in the morning, that shit is pitch black. Let's see, he fires a shot in the air and says something to the effect of, in the name of Jesus Christ, go away. He fires 2 more times, and then from the woods right up against the river, from across the trailer, it sounds like something is slowly gibbering and hooting. Then it starts screaming. It sounded almost like a woman and a cat in a bag screaming together. Like, I seriously have never heard any shit like that. And you can hear the brush over that way start to shake. Reese fires over into the tree line and then starts backing into the house. We lock the door, we can hear this shit keening and screaming. Reese says something had come out of the bushes super low to the ground and crawling to the side toward the cabin. He had shot at it. Pretty much that's how the rest of the night went. It was literally screaming constantly for the next 2 hours, and we can hear that shit moving into the tree line. But it never came back up to the cabin until everyone had finally fallen asleep. Tan had been sitting in his chair watching the door with his rifle. Nobody else heard or saw this, and he told me 2 days later after the whole thing was over. He had been nodding off after the screaming and noises finally stopped. He had almost been asleep when he saw someone come out from the bathroom and then lay in the middle of the floor and go to sleep. He just assumed it was one of us and had nodded off. Then he said he kind of realized something was wrong, and while pretending to be sleeping, he counted us. There were 9 people in the cabin. He basically didn't want to try shooting at this fucking thing in the cabin and have it kill us all then and there, or have Reese wake up and start shooting and then we kill ourselves, so he just stayed awake all night pretending to be asleep. He says sometimes he would stand up and kind of do this weird jittery thing or heave like it was laughing, but then it would lay back down. His story closes pretty weak because it was from my perspective nothing happened. We all woke up. I noticed that Tan was a little jittery and that he was avoiding looking at all of us, but we ate some breakfast, packed up, and started walking to his house. He stayed last in the cabin and said he'd lock up and bring me my uncle's keys to just start walking and catch up, which I really didn't want to fucking do. But got a little bit up the path and then he came running. Basically, we jogged back to his house. His cousin took us home. There was a window in the bathroom. Tan had gone back to lock the door. Looked up in there. We were too stupid to lock a screenless window. The window was fucking up when we went in there. Holy shit, it got in through the window. I'm guessing it had been doing that all along, waiting for us to fall asleep, slip up, and then get in among us. It was on with us all the goddamn way back to our house, and then he said it lagged to the back of the group and looked him dead in the eyes before walking into the woods. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. So this story gives me 2 feelings, right? One where it's like it could be among us at any point in time, right? So it's that like kind of like you never know when you'll see it. But also it didn't do anything. Like, it was just there the entire time, and it didn't, like, really necessarily hurt anyone, and it got, like, pretty dang close. Goat man. Goat. That's not how you spell it. Goat man. Let's see. Okay, what does it do? What does it do when it gets to you? That's what I'm trying to find. See, also... urban legends, maybe. No, creepypastas. Creepypasta goat man. Creepypasta goat man. Creepypasta goat man. Creepypasta. Pasta goat man. Because, like, my question is, what is it supposed to do? Because, like, okay, so it went multiple times into their thing. Can't read the words Among Us with a straight face anymore. I felt that, man. Every time I say it, I'm like, Among Us. It's like weird PTSD. Oh, man. But it went up to them, like, multiple times and was just, like, literally chilling with them. It even went inside when they were, like, unconscious and it didn't do anything. So, like, it's probably bad luck and that's only it. And it is, you know, eerie to have something that's like, oh my god, it was there, it was with us, and we didn't even notice. You know, it could have hurt us, but the thing is, it didn't, and it had multiple chances to do so. So like, I get why they would be afraid of it, right? It's that uncanny valley thing that I was mentioning earlier. Whenever, like, I was talking about my English teacher and stuff, and that whole discussion that we had, where it's just like I would still be scared knowing that um knowing that like it was there with us, but like it didn't do anything. So I kind of feel bad for it. Maybe it was just like, maybe it literally did just want a friend. Like it just wanted to hang out and stuff. It wanted to be part of the gang, you know, it wanted to fit in. It was just like, I just want to go camping with some friends, but I don't have friends because I'm Goat Man. So it just like goes there. It's just trying to chill with a bunch of teenagers, you know, but then every time that they look him in the eye, they like know, like, hey, that's not a thing. Well, actually, no. With the girl, it wasn't that like they looked each other in the eye. It was just like, wait, isn't there only this amount? And he was like, don't tell anyone. And she was like, oh my god. Oh man. Ever drink water and feel like the shit isn't wet enough? Yeah. You ever drink, you ever have a dry throat and then drink mineral water? It's like you're asking for death. Oh man. But yeah, that is hella not good. Okay, next one we have is another creepypasta submitted by Lorelia. And so this one is feline, and so from what I've heard, it's like the Alien series, but narrated by a cat. So we'll see how that goes, because I honestly don't remember the Alien series that much. But yeah, from what I've seen with the Goat Man, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's that, like, that bad. I mean, yeah, it'll be kind of creepy, but, because, like, look at this, you don't want, you don't want this thing hanging out with you necessarily, at least not looking like that. But then whenever it, like, transforms, then it's not as bad, you know? You know, it's a funny thing about this. Have y'all ever seen this before? There's like quick tangent right here. But this is the story, or no, this is the image mainly used with the rake and stuff, right? But I watched this whole like video documentary and stuff where it's like, here's the origins of all these creepy photos and stuff. And this one actually came from a video game trailer and stuff, so now it's not as scary anymore. But yeah, no, I could see why they would be afraid of this, right? Because this is like, what the hell even is that, you know? I could see why that would freak them out. But just having like another person among y'all, like it would be freaky to some extent, but it didn't do anything, so, you know, at least you know, or like according to at least the Wikipedia entry, it's probably not gonna do anything. It's just gonna freak you out. And smell bad. It just smells bad. It just needs a shower, guys. It's fine. Oh man, okay. Part 1. The cat slowly settled into the dark floor in the brightly lit room, stretching its long body. Hey, Paprika, do you want an eye patch or something? Oh, I think I have an eye patch. Hold on. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull out an eye patch from somewhere. Pictures. Here. I feel like I do. I really do feel like I have an eye patch. Patch. No, I don't. That's surprising. But yeah, sure, why not? Let's see. Nothing much, just bird. Let's see. The cat slowly settled on the deck floor in the brightly lit room. Stretching his long body, he let out a giant yawn. Like his human companions, he was groggy and felt slightly sick from the remnants of the chemicals lingering in his system. Why were there chemicals in his system? Reviving from cryo-sleep was an unpleasant thing. Wait, okay, hold on. What is Aliens movie summarized? In deep space, the crew of a commercial starship, Nostromo, is awakened from their cryosleep castles halfway through their journey home to investigate the distress call from an alien vessel. The terror begins when the crew encounters a nest of eggs inside an alien ship. An organism from inside the egg leaps out and attaches itself to one of the crew, causing him to fall into a coma. Okay. Okay. I'm assuming that's the thing. That's the thing that attaches. does not seem like a fun time, I gotta admit. Okay, so now that I have refreshed my memory, let's see. It was an unpleasant thing, and it always put him in a standoffish mood. One of the humans shuffled by, and without considering the consequences, in spite of his temper, attempted to give him an affectionate scratch behind the ears. Had the show of fondness come from anyone else other than the female he had grown attached to, they would have earned themselves a nasty scratch, soon not to be forgotten. Tired of socializing, he stood up with its tail held high, and left a large cryo vault that housed the flower-shaped hypersleep modules to shake off the lingering remnants of his long sleep. Okay, so he just like woke up and stuff. Family, no. The following day, he refamiliarized himself with the 3 levels of a large vessel that had been his home for most of his life. Like the humans that occupied the ship, he too had responsibilities and duties, like his counterparts. He took his business very seriously, for there were other places besides the vessel's bridge and engineering levels that needed tending to. Places too small for man to fit. So, how do you train a cat to fix stuff? Because I need to write that down. Gonna have a whole IT support desk with my 2 cats. Oh man. I'm out of water. That's the one thing I forgot to get. Let's see. To the outside eye, it may seem rather odd. Wait, no. The narrow and dark shafts that ducts underneath and between the decks were under his charge. They were his to patrol and his to guard. To the eye outside, it may seem rather odd and out of place to allow a cat to roam free on the star freighter. One may question the logic of such practice and attribute it to a particular habits of space trunkers are known for. Maybe it was simply a means to distract the lonely homesick crew, to keep their spirits high during long hauls. No, the ship's mascot served for a particular purpose and was assigned to the ship, just like every other freighter, cargo ship, or transport on active duty with flight plans requiring cryostasis for its crew. In fact, in recent years, ICC regulations now mandated that every commissioned star freighter Class M through Class Vega were required to be equipped with a ship's mascot level Class 3A through 3D. 3D! How such a strange directive came to be was not so far-fetched one may think. This reminds me of, like, have y'all heard the like, not really creepypastas, but they're just, little, like, Tumblr stories. It's usually just, like, random Tumblr posts, and they're like, oh yeah, look, humans are space orcs and stuff like that. That one's fun. Just grab one from the window. Oh man. My thing is, like, what does a cat do? Because, like, okay, this story's supposed to be told from the cat's perspective, so I feel like it's just, like, kind of a, what's it called? Not unworthy narrator, but untrustworthy narrator? Or, like, unreliable narrator, to where they're like, oh yeah, I did a lot, and they didn't. Because that's what it feels like. He's like, oh, you know, there's a reason that I'm here. Yeah, we're very important, actually. There was a mandate. I don't know why, but there is. In this modern age, humanity's demand for resources has quickly extended to what our little world could render. The realization that Earth was not an endless source of fuel came frightfully sudden upon humanity. There was no other option. Okay, wait. Now I'm kind of curious. What would this sound like?
To shake off the lingering remnants of his long sleep.
Okay, it's just the same. I don't know why, I was kind of convinced they were going to read it in like a cat voice or something. The curiosity killed me. Oh man, humans are space Australia. Exactly. I love those stories actually, they're so cute. They're like, oh yeah, you know, we have this weird like the gut feelings, and where we have this sixth sense, or like that heightened sense of smell, where like, oh man, we can survive a lot of stuff. Like, it feels really cool. I wonder what it'll be like. I wonder if that's actually the truth. It's funny, have y'all, okay, I'm getting very off track, right? Whenever I talk about aliens, I'm not like a conspiracy theorist, right? I'm not out here with a tinfoil hat or anything, but it does make me think a lot, you know? And so, the main thing that I think about is there's this thing that like many scientists have said or whatever, where it's like, oh yeah, no, life outside, there's definitely life outside and stuff like that, and it exists to a certain extent, but it's weird that we haven't encountered any, and the only explanation that we really have for like why we haven't encountered any is one of two things. either they're also, or like they're further behind than us and so they don't know how to travel, which is like probably not it, or they know that we're there but they're staying away from us for some reason, you know? And so it makes me wonder like which one. I'm pretty sure it's not the first one. The hair's looking pretty silver to me. Oh yeah? Is it? I hope it's silvery. But yeah, no. Oh, I get it, because the tinfoil hat. Oh my gosh. I wore it so often it melded into my head. No. Nah, I'm just like, I'm curious, you know? What'll it be like whenever we see like alien life and stuff like that? What happens, you know? Let's see. Endless source of fuel can't wait. Where was I? In this modern age, humanity's demand for resources had quickly exceeded what our little world could render. The realization that the Earth was not an endless source of fuel came frightfully sudden upon humanity. Well, that's a little too real. There was no other options upon... I can't read. There was no other option than to look up to the stars and dreamed of the vast riches that must be out there. Oh my god, The Conquest Part 2. With some ingenuity and lots of money, we slowly and aggressively pushed our reach further out into unexplored frontiers of space. However, this charge into the unknown wasn't led by the government of the world. It was the vast, powerful, and wealthy global corporations that conquered the vastness of space. Okay. Again, I'm sorry, but when you talk about aliens, when you talk about space, there's like a lot of things that come to mind for me. And so it's like, okay, so back on the topic that I'd mentioned earlier, right? It's like, oh, essentially kind of life probably does exist, but they don't want to like mess with us, right? And that leads to like two other options where it's like, well, why? And it's either one, like they don't like us, like they're like, oh man, we don't trust them because they're like creepy or something, right? And that's like, oh, the space orcs is probably like a real thing. Or they're like, oh, we gotta wait till, you know, they get smart enough and stuff, right? And here's like a weird connection that my brain makes. You know those like ancient history ruins where people are like, oh my god, look, the Aztecs built this, but like how could they possibly have built this with like such early technology, right? I don't really actively believe that like aliens helped us or whatever, but there are some like little things that show up in hieroglyphs and stuff where it's like, where did that come from? You know, like what does this mean and stuff like that. And maybe some of them are photoshopped, right? I don't know how realistic this is, but I definitely have seen some where it's like, hey, what is that? Why is it talking about this? Why does it show this? Why like does it show like crop circles and stuff like that and UFOs and stuff like that? And there's accounts like predating certain things, right? So my brain's kind of like, I don't know, it's tying dots that are not there. But it's like, what if there were aliens that helped us at first and then something bad happened to where they were like, we have to wait until y'all get smart enough to where like, you know, we can actually come and talk with y'all and be normal. What if like we had this whole war or something and it's been like erased from everywhere and stuff? Oh man. Hold on, let me I feel like I need to get this. Give me like 2 seconds, okay? Okay, let me go get a tinfoil hat. This feels so out there. Tinfoil hat, PNG, transparent. There we go. I mean, I discovered humans I would want to keep my distance, well, such unpredictable little creatures. Exactly, like we are like kind of a little violent, a little scary sometimes, so honestly I could see that being a thing. There we go. Wait, can I get a shinier one? I want a shiny tinfoil hat. I want something very goofy looking. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Man, it's really hard. Finding a good transparent one. Okay, I'll just go with the other one. It's like really goofy looking, so don't make fun of my hat. Hold on. Okay, right there. Oh my god, it's a WebP file. Why? Wait, where's the other one? But yeah, what if they were like here before and then something happened, and then they were like, we can no longer be friends because y'all, or like maybe they did a bad thing, and they were like, oh man, no more. No more. Okay, tinfoil hat. There we go. Okay, let me get my hat in here. Oh man, who would have thought the Halloween stream is whenever I would finally get a tinfoil hat. Add, and then go into here, and tinfoil hat, tinfoil hat, tinfoil hat, tinfoil hat, tinfoil hat. Go down to the T's. LMNOP Sorry, I feel like this is very important. LMNOP I can say the alphabet. I'm really good at it. Where is it? Well, there we go. I don't know where it was hiding. Okay. Okay. Hear me out, right? We had a war. We had a war with the aliens and stuff. Wait, let me see if I can get it in front of my head. There we go. Okay. We had a war with the aliens or something. We like freaked them out. We were like, hey, actually, world domination. And they were like, are you okay, little bud? And we were like, yeah, no, this is a great idea. Trust me, trust me. What if we made nuclear warfare and stuff? And they were like, listen, you need to learn how to effectively communicate with your fellow, beings and stuff. And so we're gonna leave you to like simmer for a little bit. You gotta cool off. We'll leave you for a couple of eons. We'll be back and then we can talk things out again. What if we were violent? Because like, I don't know, the timeline would make sense. But I doubt it too, because a lot of the things where it's like, oh, this is an unexplainable, unsolved mystery. How were we able to build these ruins and stuff without the help of aliens? Because they must have needed advanced technology. How could we possibly have figured out? Usually people are like, no, it's just a bunch of simple tools. So it's like really crazy what like little simple tools and simple devices, what are they called? Simple machines and stuff like that, like the lever, the wedge, the wheel and stuff like that. Simple machines, I think they're called. Crazy what they could build. And so like a part of me is like, no wait, because like if I had those simple things, I don't think my first thing, or it probably wasn't their first thing, but like, or well no, I guess it does make sense from a certain thing, because they built other things before being like, let's build a pyramid and stuff like that. Like in and of itself, it was a ambitious project and stuff like that. So it's just, I guess that's normal. It checks out and stuff. But it's just weird, like it's so weird that they did that. I wanna believe. I wanna believe. Okay, let me take my hat off. I don't even know where it went. Oh man. Let's see, simple machines, my favorite kind of animal for people. Oh man. Nah, simple machines are like little tools and stuff, like I don't know, a rock and stuff. They're things that, man, I used to know the definition of it, but I don't anymore. That's like 8th grade science stuff. Like, oh, small tools that help you finish a job faster and stuff like that. But there's like, I think specifically only 6 of them. Let me see. Okay, hold on. Simple machines. List. It's weird that there's like a specific list. Okay, screw, inclined plane, wedge, lever, wheel, axle, and pulley. Yeah. So it's like these things. What exactly does it mean though? Why? Let's see. Are there 10 simple machines? Simple machines. Why are they called simple machines? They all make work easier and have few or no moving parts. There are 6 different simple machines. The 6 simple machines are wedge, screw, lever, pulley, inclined plane, wheel, and axle. They all make work easier, have few or no moving parts. Okay, so it's just like the most rudimentary of like things that you can use to make your work easier. Okay, I kind of get it. Okay, but anyways, back onto the story. Okay, so they're not on Earth anymore. Some ingenuity, a lot of money. Okay, rich people paid for us to go into outer space to get more stuff. Soon, our small solar system was ours to plunder, but to our dismay, we learned that it was meager and less than adequate. Humanity's aspiration shifted its attention to even further out into the void. Our systems may have been lacking, but there were others nearby, rich in minerals and ores. Sprinkled across the universe, brave new worlds, planets, and asteroids ripe for commercialization would be found. Waiting in solitary orbits were isolated and untouched planetoids and moons overflowing with infinite possibilities for interstellar commerce. In preparation for our eventual arrival, probes and eventually automated compact mining units were sent ahead of us by decades to survey the remote systems and establish rudimentary outposts. In the meantime, we developed new technology, we constructed shipyards, and humanity began to learn how to travel among the stars. In the beginning, the large corporations faced many obstacles in establishing the new frontier. The advancements of new technology was vital to creating a profitable and lucrative business model. This included breakthrough in propulsion, life support systems, energy consumption, inertial and gravitational controls, and so on and so on. Most importantly, the vessels needed capacity to travel the immersive distances in short periods of time while transporting the refining tons of cargo. All of these challenges were confronted and overcome. Man reach slowly extended out further and further. Humanity celebrated their well-deserved accomplishments and continued to push forward unaware of the unseen stowaways that flourished in secret alongside the larger companions. So we're just like picking stuff up from outer space, and we are none the wiser. Which honestly I could see happening. In under 27 years, the Thetis Antarctica shipping lane had been established along the outer rim of their core systems. The resource-rich system was located 59 light-years away in the Epsilon Reticuli system. Although the sophisticated and sublight engines significantly lessened the flight times, reaching, mining, and docking station was still required significant time by human standards. Supercomputers equipped with multi-utility task Supercomputers equipped with multi-utility task hyper-recursive processors made high-speed navigation possible, where pinpoint accuracy, split-second course corrections could mean the difference between life and death. The ever-watchful computer monitored its hull and meticulously cared for the crew, like an overly protective mother. Okay, weird thing about interstellar travel, right? The further out you get, the longer it takes to reach, right? And so with that, you start getting into light years and stuff, right? And I do not claim to be a scientist. I do not claim to be that smart. But here's a fear of mine that I have. And it's an irrational fear because I know that even if we did develop that type of space travel, I would be one of the last people to go out there because I don't like the idea of, being out in space and stuff. That's scary. Because, if something scary happens, you don't run to a neighbor's, you don't run to the main street, you don't run to, like, a public shopping mall or something and be like, help, something's chasing me. You're just kind of stuck in space. So I don't like it. I feel, like, truly cornered in space. Despite the vastness, it's very ironic. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, could you imagine, right, that we start progressively, like, learning more and more about how to, like, get into light years travel and stuff, and we send out, like, more missions that take years to reach stuff? What if one day we send out a mission and it takes so long to reach there, but that, like, by the time it reaches there, Earth has died? Like, and, this would, like, be unheard of because, aside from, just humans in and of themselves kind of causing us to, like, lurch forward closer to our ends, which is possibly scarier, I think. The Earth ending and stuff is calculated to happen, like, I don't know, billion years, and I'm probably off by a couple years with that, because I was a kid whenever I heard about all this and stuff, like, oh yeah, eventually the sun's gonna crash into the Earth, or the moon might hit first, and, like, the shockwave from that is what's gonna take all living organisms out and stuff. So, like, that or, like, one stray comet, that's all it takes. So what happens if, like, you send these astronauts, like, in a cryo sleep or something, and you shoot them off for, like, more than a couple years, and then by the time they get there, no one is left on Earth. That is sad. That is so sad. Don't worry, I'll hold your hand. Oh man, I think that's gonna need more than just, like, holding hands. That's gonna need a whole therapy session. But with who? Unless there was a therapist on ship, or, like, some type of AI therapist, which, like, I don't know how good that would work. Like, you're fucked, Just gotta deal with the fact. Because could you imagine if you woke up one day and there were no longer anyone else in the world. Like at first, you know, you might be like, yeah, I get to do this, I get to do that, you know, I don't have to work, I don't have to worry about bills, I don't have to worry about debt, you know, I can just live and be okay. But like, then what? You know, like, yeah, you'll start kind of like maybe living a little bit, but then you won't have friends to send memes to, or there will be like no one else making memes. If you want new memes, then you have to make them yourself. If you want like new cool videos, you have to make them yourself. You have to start all the roles. Like that is a very lonely existence. And so, I mean, at least if you get sent out to space, you have the crew. But like, I don't know, like you get sent away from home and then you get there years later and everyone's dead. Like, that is sad, you know? Like essentially sending people off like that to some capacity could be sending them off to their deaths. And that is sad. I don't know, that genuinely makes me sad. Which is not completing the goal. The whole point is to make me scared. Not sad. Making me sad is like relatively easy. All I gotta do is think about space and stuff and I'm like, oh, that's sad. I have big hands, you'll be fine. AI. Man. That too, like, I don't know if AI is sentient or not. And if it ever will be. But I think that would also be sad, you know? Like, okay. Okay. I gotta... This is important. Shelter. Porter. Robinson. This one, like, genuinely touches on a fear of mine. And if you've never heard this music, if you've never seen this music video, go watch it. It's very good. I love it so much. Right? Let me go here really quick. Gotta put pause because that's copyrighted as all heck. But if you've never seen this, go watch it. There we go. The music is a bop, right? And it tells the story of a little girl where like the world was ending or whatever. Like this is her and her dad and the world was ending. And so he made this little rocket ship and sent her out into space. And so now she's in like this little capsule. And so she's like dreaming that, you know, like she has this whole world essentially at her fingertips so she can like change the world as she sees fits or whatever. But she's alone. She's completely alone. And at the end, I think she like actually wakes up because she was just like in cryo sleep and stuff like that or whatever. Like look at that, she's hooked up to all the wires and stuff. And so she's like asleep the entire time. And she wakes up at the end, I think. I could be wrong. But what happens after that? You know, what happens after your wake up? That is like so fucking sad for me. I remember like once, like after watching it like 3 times whenever it first came out, I like cried for a little bit because I was like, this is genuinely so sad. And there's like a part where she cries and that just had me sobbing. I highly, highly recommend giving this a listen if you've never seen it. But yeah. I don't know, I like that one a lot. And it made me think about it. Space is just such a like it's full of things for me to think of. Let's see. There was this Russian guy that we kind of forgot in space. Oh yeah, I had heard of that like he got sent up with like an old Russian space program and then he was like orbiting and stuff and it was like with the Soviet Union, I think. And so after they shot him up or whatever and it was successful and he was out in orbit, the Soviet Union dissolved or whatever. And so essentially the like company, not really the company, right, but the organization that was in control of the space program that sent him up into space was like, you know, they're like fired or laid off or whatever. And then everybody kind of forgot about it until like later where they were like, didn't we send a guy into space? And they're like, oh yeah, someone should probably get him down. And they were like, oh yeah. And then like there was a while of him just like not being able to come back down because they would send a crew up there that wasn't fully trained. They didn't know how to work a space station and stuff, so he couldn't leave for a while. And then they finally did get him down and stuff. But like he just enjoyed being in space and stuff. So I think he went back up and stuff. Let's see. Let me actually find out the specific thing. The Russian guy left in space. There we go. Sergei Krikalev. sorry if I mispronounced that. Was in space as a part of an extraterrestrial trip program when the Soviet Union collapsed on December 26, 1991. Overnight, he was unable to return to Earth and ended up spending twice as long in orbit as he has planned. How long was he stuck? 311 days. That's almost an entire year. A year is made up of like 356 days, so that's like a little over a month. And then he would have he would have been in space for a year. Just over 10 months. Man. Bro was living on fives? For real, for real. But a step, me, I'm still alive from planet Earth. Oh, man. But yeah, he did make it back to Earth. After Germany paid Kazakhstan $24 million to buy a ticket to replace him, the astronaut Cloud Destrite applied. But what does he do now? Wait, is he? Let's see. Official accounts of his final moments recorded in the Russian State Archive that one of his last sentences he told his colleagues was, "I feel excellent. Everything's in order." A few minutes later, he reportedly said, "Thank you for transmitting all that." Separation occurred. Wait, is he still alive? I don't know. Hold on, where's this Wikipedia article? There it is. Let's see. He is retired now, but he's still alive. Okay. What did he do after that? Let's see, he was a cosmonaut, International Space Station, later career. Okay, wait, where was he left? Trying to find it, cause like I heard about it off of like a TikTok or something. So, you know, I don't know if my information is completely correct, but I think it is. He was fine after that. He just like, yeah, okay, I want to go back in space, and he went on a couple more missions. And I'm assuming now he's retired. Well, not assuming, he is retired, but I don't know if he's still in space or not. Let's see. Huh. I have no ideas. I have no idea. Not idea. Ready for Halloween? What are you going to do for Halloween? Are you trick-or-treating or staying at home or handing out candy? I'm just staying at home. I'm gonna clean. Little stuff that need to be cleaned. But yeah, that Russian guy. I think I would cry for a little bit if I got left in space. Like, it's one thing for me to agree to go into space, right? Because like I've said before, it's not something that I really want to fuck around with. It's less scary than the sea, but I'm still afraid of being in space and stuff. Not like really, like a part of me does, like y'all have seen me, the moments where I've seen like stars and stuff. I'm fascinated with stars and stuff. Because, you know, they're shiny and stuff, and so my crow brain's like, oh man, I love that, you know, it's so shiny, it's so neat. But as far as actually going up there, that's a different thing. That's a different thing altogether. So it would be one thing to get me up into space, and then another thing to forget me in space. That's like the worst thing you could do to me. You want to know the best prank to pull on Paprika? Shoot her up into space and leave her there. She will not be happy. Oh man. Alright, where were we? Let's see. Included breakthrough propulsion, life support system, energy consumption. Oh yeah, all this. Okay. Their well-deserved accomplishments, continue to push forward, unaware. Okay, they had stowaways. In under 27 years, the Thetis Antarctica shipping lane had been established along the outer rim of the core systems. The resource-rich system was located 59 light-years away. That's a lot. Is that 59 years? How long is a light year exactly? Is that 1 year? Is a light year 1 year? 1 Earth year. For most space objects, we use light years to describe their distance. A light year is the distance light travels in 1 Earth year. Okay, so yeah, it is 1 year. So that's 59 years away. So could you imagine going somewhere and it takes so long that, like, you're 59 years older by the time you get there? That would be crazy. Like, the same day that you left, a child is born. And when you arrive there, okay? Not when you get back, but when you arrive there, it is now a 59-year-old man, or woman, or person. Man. Time flies, am I right? In the Epsilon Reticuli system, Although the sophisticated sublight engines significantly lessen the flight times, reaching mining and docking stations still require significant time by human standards. Supercomputers equipped with Wait a minute, I already read this. Let's see. Point accuracy. Better watch. Overtake the mother. In fact, she was so efficient during this stage of the journey, the crew was more of an interference than a benefit to her. Little was left for her crew to do than pass time. There was an extremely G-force. Wait, what? There were the extreme G-forces. I just want to take a brief moment to see what pops up here. Okay, I'm glad. I was scared that this might have been like a hallucination, and I didn't want to bust out like, do y'all remember that movie with the guinea pigs who are spies? It's called G-Force, because what if it was a dream that I had? Like, it could have very well been a dream. It was like, oh yeah, they're little spy guinea pigs, and they have spy gadgets, and they do stuff. Like, I was not ready to get clowned on for that, so I was like, hold on, let me make sure I'm not thinking of the wrong thing. Oh man. I'm glad that exists. Oh man, hi, I'm gonna subscribe and like. Welcome in, Kill Streak Montage. I'm gonna try out 8 Ball since it seems fun. It does. Oh man. What's your opinion on G-Force Kill Streak Montage? Specifically the movie, the Disney movie with the guinea pigs and stuff where they're spies or something? I don't even know what they do. But they have spy gear and stuff. I don't remember much about it. Then there was extreme G-forces from accelerating to such speeds to considered. The massive weight from a velocity just below the speed of light was intense and capable of crushing a human body instantly. The corporate number crunchers frowned at the cost of the retrofitting hulls of the ship. Okay. Wow. When does spooky stuff start happening? This is still all just like pre-log. Let's see. Okay, wait. Mouse traps. Okay, there's a vermin infestation. Okay, we're getting close. My what? I didn't hear you good. Your opinion. Your opinion on the renowned Disney movie G-Force with the little guinea pigs and stuff. What's your opinion on that? It's very important. Oh man. Let's see. Research in hypersleep yielded the answer to this dilemma. It became standard practice for the crew to enter hibernation capsules that induce a state of suspended animation as a means of enduring long hauls. Only the section that housed the small hibernation vault required the initial shielding to shelter the crew from severe G-forces. The vessel would power down, the hall's corridors darkened, the equipment and systems came to a stop, the air thinned, and the ship was alone and unwatched. That was when they came out free and unhindered to claim their lands, the vermin. Oh, okay. I was like 2 sentences away. Yeah. Alongside the spread of humanity to the stars came their filth, waste, and garbage. The pests and vermin who thrived in these conditions of squalor found their promised land within the tugboats, mining facilities, outposts, docking stations, relay communication hubs, and militant deploys command centers. Infestations were not an uncommon sight for commercial tug ships in those days. Regulations were lax and rarely enforced. Surprisingly, the design engineers were baffled by small cruisers who could even survive such extreme forces encountered from a ship's sublight acceleration and decelerations. They should have been crushed and smothered against their bulkheads. They were not. Oh, it's good. It looks very funny. I have my hamster next to me, so I feel like it's even better. Funny spy. Man, watch that. Like, show an image of G-Force to him, and he's gonna, like just look away, like, oh, I'm not a spy or anything. Secret. He's a secret little guy. You don't even know he's an actual, like, top secret agent. Oh, man. They genuinely would make good spies or whatever, I think, because, like, I wouldn't suspect it. If I had a guinea pig, I wouldn't be like, man, that's a spy. I'd be like, oh, look at this little guy. Because they're so goofy, you know? You ever heard a guinea pig sound? They're just goofy little guys. I love them. Okay. They were not, even though life support was powered down, the complete evacuation of the environment in such a large vessel was not possible, and not to mention, not economical. Still, the thin air should have hindered the little beast's activities. It did not. Space travel seemed to have an odd effect on animals. They flourished. Not only did they prosper, but they adapted rather well to the harsh conditions of interstellar light. Wait, okay, so this is something like rats or something. they developed powerful circulatory and pulmonary systems. Okay, this wouldn't be something that's ever possible. And this weird, like, science paprika coming out. She doesn't usually come out, so enjoy, guys. But it would never be possible because animal evolutions and stuff. Or then again, this is probably alien life, so it could evolve differently. But it couldn't have been any type of, like, earth animal because earth animals, they take longer to adapt and stuff. But then again, they are traveling for a long period of time, so I guess that would make sense. But, like, over the course of 59 years at best, that is not enough time, unless it's like fruit flies maybe, or something that lives relatively young. Because the way evolution works is that you have like this type of species of animals, and then like some of them die because, you know, they're not able to survive or whatever, but the ones that live usually have certain features, like whether it be a certain gene or a certain resistance to certain things. That's why they're able to survive and stuff, and so they pass down those genes, and then from their offspring, the ones that have those genes survive and they continue the bloodline. The ones that don't, they die. And so kind of through natural selection, that's how we get evolved creatures and stuff, right? That's how let's see what's been evolved. I mean, with domesticated animals, it's essentially the same thing, except we had a hand in their evolution and stuff, where it's like like domesticated ducks, I think, fly less or something, or domesticated chickens are like fatter and stuff. I think wild chickens, they used to be able to fly. I could be wrong. I'm not a farmer, so I don't actually know. But like what we do there is like we kill off the ones that have traits that we don't like. So, you know, the chickens, for example, the ones that flew, we were like, hey, that's my dinner for tonight, you know? And the ones that didn't fly, we would like go on to have them produce eggs or something. And so that's how evolution works. So that wouldn't be possible with something from Earth. Now, it could be that things like aliens or something, extraterrestrial life off Earth, I don't know what really controls like how fast they evolved other than life cycles, which is why I think like something like a fruit fly would be able to evolve relatively fast. But I don't know, they would have to like die really fast in order for evolution to be that quick, you know? Let's see. Can't even do it right now. She's probably just gonna run and don't say guinea pig there, my Hammy's enemy. It's true about wildlife. I think I'm young. I'm only 10. I'm in 5th grade. I'm so young. I'm dumb. My IQ is 1. Yeah, for domestic animals, we also control their breeding in a different way because cats and dogs, they sadly gave them away. Yeah, exactly. So it's like very weird. Evolution stuff. So I wonder if this is, it probably is, because I mentioned earlier like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of little like stowaways from like the different, see, it's weird because they didn't say explicitly, I think, that they went to different little, because it's saying that humanity started exploring space more, but not necessarily that this ship went to different spots and stuff. So if it was a ship launched from Earth, it shouldn't have had stowaways from outer space. So where did they come from? That's the main thing. And it could be that they made stops at like other space stations or something, and then like their cargo that they transported there, maybe there were already some lying there from like other space missions that had gone to other planets. But if not, then where, you know? I don't know. I'm thinking too much into this one. The complete evacuation environment is not possible, not economical. Okay. They flourished. Not only did they prosper, but they adapted rather well to the harsh environment. To the harsh conditions of interstellar flight, they developed powerful circulatory and what does that mean? Pulmonary systems. Pulmonary system. Anatomy. Oh, it's just like the respiratory system. Okay, why'd they call it weird? Little BC's muscle mass increased, and the bones became durable and flexible, and the most advanced polymer. Initially, little was done if a ship reported a vermin infestation on its deck. Again, the company executives frowned at any expenditure that eroded their profit margins, such as the full extermination and continuous pest control expenses of their fleet and facilities. It was rare to see an approved requisition for an extermination request, and the filthy stowaways eventually became just an unfortunate reality of life in space. Before the Shotwell disaster, bribes and payoffs were more than adequate for regulatory agencies to turn a blind eye to the problem. Man, That sucks. Could you imagine, like, you living in space and stuff and you gotta live with all these, like, little creatures and stuff that you're like, oh, I want them to go away. And management just will not get rid of them because it costs too much money. That sucks. Yeah, I know, I'm dumb. Nah, no worries. I also don't know. It's okay. We both will just Google rapidly together. The USCSS Shotwell exploded just outside of Beta Prime Reticuli system in 2117 AD. The detonation of the ship's main reactor destroyed both cargo and crew. Analysis of the recovered flight recorder from the wreckage indicated critical failure of many ships' primary and secondary systems, including the reactor's cooling system controls. When the investigation concluded and the outcome buried deep within the high-security vault's mainframes went on as normal, things changed in 2119 when the buried failure analysis was leaked from the public and the innovative skill of hacking organization. The public was outraged to learn the destruction of the USCSS Shotwell was a result of severe internal damage of its primary systems conduit housings that held the complex and fragile circuitry wiring. People were horrified and enraged to learn that the sensitive network and vital wires and modules that ran within the walls and decks shared space with a massive population of rodents and pests. Yeah, I figured that's where it was headed. Again, the company executives frowned upon at the cost of elaborate deterrent systems needed for each of its vessels. An adequate pest control system was expensive and intricate. It needed its own dedicated AI to be effective. The days of simple mousetraps and poisons were a thing of the past. It required sophisticated motion detector sensors, pinpoint accurate laser targeting. Oh my god, they were lasering the animal. The little beasts. And network drones capable of complex maneuvering and tracking abilities. Dr. Souvenir. Man, what a name. Dr. Souvenir was a man known for keeping an ear on everything in the midst of having his well-funded research project shut down for lack of practical application. These events were seen as a rare opportunity. Within days, he stood before CEOs and board directors to propose the Feline program. The initial purpose and goals of the Feline project were never publicly disclosed. However, it was not uncommon in those days for corporations to engage in underground biogenetics, unethical bioengineering practices. As long as the potential for profit could be argued, ethical and moral research practices were mostly ignored. It was hinted at possible military involvement, but eventually the project was put on hold in early stages of embryonic testing. Man. Do I search up heroin? No, I don't. Dr. Souvenir proposed that the board of directors plan to introduce one of his specimens into the ship's corridors, a genetically modified member of the feline Catechus species. That's the scientific name for a cat species, by the way. Relying heavily on the boasts of his inexpensive manufacturing process of high-quality designer animals, he mesmerized them like a car salesman of old. He sold them with the claims of a product adapted to space travel, engineered with enhanced intelligence, and endowed with superior sensory capability and increased stamina. It was a perfect solution. Everything in the environment pest control systems had to offer was contained in these small creatures at a fraction of the cost. The Feline program launched with immense success. The Feline project was given full access to the ship during operating periods such as departure and docking approaches, as well as any activity during inter-flight times that the crew revival was required. A single feline was capable of keeping an entire ship clear of vermin. Okay, but here's the thing though. I mean, then again, they're genetically modified, so that's probably a thing that they fixed. But like, if you've ever owned a cat, they shed a lot. And the thing is, when they shed, their hair just their fur doesn't just disintegrate after it falls off. You know, you gotta sweep that shit up and take that shit out. You gotta have air purifiers and stuff. If not, like it'll get inside of you. And funny thing, actually, you can develop a feline allergy if you, or from what I've heard, right, if you breathe too much of like cat fur and stuff and like that, you can develop a cat allergy. So like, it is very important to keep the fur clean and everything. You gotta consistently clean. But if that's in space, either they have a specific thing, like they have to implement a specific thing to keep all the cat fur and stuff like controlled to where it never reaches too high of amounts, or like they have to continuously keep dumping it, because otherwise then it'll like start clogging the ship's like air systems or whatever. And like, this is coming from me with the knowledge of like, I don't know how the ships are made. I don't know how they do the air stuff. I don't know how they make air and stuff in order for like, you know, the spaceship to have air and stuff like that. But I know that they have to keep it clean And so as such, they have to introduce that. That or the genetically modified cats don't shed, which would be amazing. So I'm just gonna go with the idea that they don't shed, because like if not, then they introduce a whole different issue. Let's see. Okay. A single feline was capable of keeping an entire ship clear of vermin. If any rodent dared to step foot on the decks of the ship patrolled by a product of the feline program, it would be dealt with swiftly and efficiently. It wasn't long before every ship was assigned its own feline to serve as a mascot and custodian to its long, dark corridors. Whew, okay. Let's see, did you search a Parabrine? I have not. Let's see, the ship rested on the surface of the small and barren planetoid. For the past 14 hours, its hull was battered by massive gusts of wind carrying debris from hostile and cold atmosphere. Within its pressurized walls, a cat sat on a cushion in one of the several lounging cubicles in the galley. He was mindful of every nook and corner in the mess hall. He was nervous from all the recent activity. The humans were on edge too, he could tell. The rough landing on the planetoid surface shook and rocked the ship and ended with smoke, explosions, and alarms. He had had enough of the disruption to his routine. He retreated to Module 12 on sea level, trying to take a nap in his secret safe spot. He sensed it even before he had completely awoken from his slumber. It confused him at first. Something had entered his territory. He felt it with his finely tuned senses. The sensation seared in his nerves. It tingled in strange vibrations so unfamiliar to him, so alien, yet he knew it was dangerous and an enemy. It was absent of scent, and its presence flickered in and out of awareness. Still, it aggravated his senses so persistently, he rose, his ears flattened, and he dashed into one of the ship's networks of service shafts installed just for him. These passengers allowed him to gain access to anywhere where he needed to go to perform his duties. He poked his head out into the staging area of the main airlock. A commotion had caught his attention. He felt the irregular presence even more intensely here, but could not see anything. The source of the intruder continued to evade him in spite of its proximity. Maybe Goatman's there. Nah, Goatman's not there. Goatman's not there. Unless... What if... Okay. This is a bad theory, right? This is a bad theory time. Hold on, let me take out my bad theory time. There we go. All set. Ready for my... Oh! Man, it just disappears. Okay. There, now it... Yeah, okay, good. Bad theory time, right? What if every type of, like, alien that we see, every unexplainable thing, what if it's all Goatman, right? And it brings up this question, is Goatman a species or is it one single entity, right? Like Bigfoot, I'm sure we know now, it's either a very, very well-traversed cryptid, or it's like a species, right? So I think maybe there's a Goatman species, and everything that like we see and stuff, every unexplainable thing, like, wow, that was weird. That was like a weird person being out there and stuff. Maybe that's all. Maybe that's all Goatman. And like, okay, let's see. Girl flying in woods. Like, okay, so there's this thing that I've seen. Let me see. Is there a GIF of it? I don't want to actually play the video. Yeah, there is. Okay. There's this one video of like this woman or something, and she's like watching her kid fly, and then they turn and they run. Hold on, I can watch it, but I just gotta mute it. There we go. So like they're there, right? They're outside, and this is somewhere in Russia supposedly. The dog runs off, and he's like, "Where's my dog going?" Right? And then he runs that way, and he follows him and stuff. And of course, it's always a low quality video. And then you see like a girl just like floating and stuff, right? And as he zooms in, as he's like, you know, what the hell is that? What's up with that? They like kind of notice or something. And then they run off. Yeah, see? He gets the daughter down and they just like run off and stuff, right? That's just Goatman. It's clearly a species of Goatman. And like, they have supernatural abilities. And so that's why like... Hold on. Bruja flying videos. It's all just Goatman, guys. You ever seen like these? Not jetpack. Witch flying, not that one. There's some that I've seen. I guess they're like only on Facebook and stuff. I don't know. I don't know where to find it, but it's literally like brujas. Would it be volando? See if I'm able to spell this right. Videos. It's usually like very low quality videos like this, but you'll just see like a mountain range and it's like this dot just flying across, and they're like, ah, las brujas, which, you know, translates to witches and stuff. So what if it's just, you know, goat man, and they just have various oh man, if there's a group of Bigfoot, would it be called Bigfoots or Big Feets? I think Bigfoots. Yeah, because big feet would refer to like specifically their feet, because they're known for having big feet, but the species itself is considered Bigfoot or Bigfooty with an I at the end, kind of like cacti, you know? Or no, that would be Big Feet, because I was thinking, oh, like geese, like goose or geese, but no, I don't even know what's up with that English version. But yeah, no. That's my conspiracy theory for the rest of the day. Every unexplainable image that you've ever seen, right? So like, let's see, unexplained, explained images, spooky, right? All the unexplainable, that's just Goat Man. That right there, it's just Goat Man. This one, this weird guy, during the filming of Exorcist, many actors were injured, set burned down. A priest was brought in many times to bless the set. The actor to play Burke, Jack Monroe, and Jan died from influenza. Might have been Goat Man, you know, it could be. This thing, Goat Man. This lady, Goat Man. This girl or person, Goat Man. I'm telling you, man, you can't disprove me. This, Goat Man. He just wanted to be a puppet. This, Goat Man. He just wanted to dress up. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of freaking myself out. I got this like weird feeling behind my back. I don't know. Okay, that tells me that I need to stop talking about what I'm talking about and I need to change subject. Are you still on about Goat Man? Listen, man, I left and came back. Oh, what's with the hat? It's my conspiracy theory. Every spooky thing that we find is just Goat Man. I'm getting like a really bad feeling on my back. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, so I'm gonna stop talking about Goat Man. Many family traditions have actually told me that, like, hey, if you get a bad feeling, don't stop talking about whatever you're talking about, and then it'll go away. So, you know, I'm gonna just move on. Are the crop circles appearing? I mean, they might be. No, like, genuinely, guys, I do, like, it's this gut feeling that, like, you feel something behind you, and I get that sometimes, because the thing is, like, with the way my room is set up, my desk is in, like, a corner of my room, and directly behind is the door to my closet, which, like, I always try and keep shut. Sometimes I have it open because cats go in there and stuff. But, like, the fact that there's a door behind there, sometimes I, like, randomly think, what if it's opening? What if there's someone behind you? And, like, my brain kind of freaks out. So, I don't know. I'm gonna move on. Oh, man. Dude, that Signs movie was awesome. For real, for real. That alien, though, freaked me out. Let's see. The ship rested on the surface of a small barren planetoid. For the past 14 hours, its hull was battered by massive gusts of wind carrying debris from a hostile and cold atmosphere. With its pressurized walls, the cat sat on a cushion. Oh wait. Here it is. Directions of a routine. He went to take a nap. Then he felt there was an enemy or something. It was absent of scent, and its presence flickered in and out of awareness. Still, it was aggravating to his senses, so persistently he rose slowly, his ears flattened. He dashed into one of the ship's network service shaft installed just for him. These passageways allowed him to gain access to anywhere he needed to go to perform his duties. He poked his head out of the staging area of the main airlock. A commotion had caught his attention. He felt an irregular presence even more intensely here, but could not see anything. The source of his intruder continued to evade him in spite of its proximity. He watched as the hatch in the airlock slid open and humans rushed in to help one of their companions. He seemed to be injured. The cat's focus studied each of the persons in the airlock passageway. Something was wrong with one of them, but he saw nothing that would trigger his senses so harshly. He hunted and searched with a skill second to none. There was no doubt something was on the ship, his ship. Something was hiding from him, something very good at hiding. Suddenly it was gone. It snapped into nothingness as if it were never there, and as if the intruder needed time to adapt to its new environment and adjust its ability to cloak itself. The cat had missed his opportunity. The presence had disappeared, leaving the cat confused and uncertain. Next day, the cat continued to his constant prowling of the ship's deck. See, okay. I think this story has potential, right? I think it could be spookier if it was written kind of like the SCP ones. You ever seen the SCP videos? Or not videos, but like SCP, what is it, archive or something like that? It's like a website. And I don't know too much about it, right? Because like even I get scared and stuff. But like all these, whenever like you read it, it feels like actual what should we call it? Actual, where is it? Actual accounts and stuff. I'm trying to like find one specifically. Maybe where would it be? I've actually never been to this website, but I know it exists. Okay. Oh wait, these are tail hubs, not that. Anthology, solidarity. Honestly, I could probably like type in a number and find it. Wait. SCP, and then sure, 106, whatever that one is. Right there. And so it's written as like entries or whatever. That would be a good way to write this story. As like, oh yeah, you know, Captain's log, the cat is acting kind of weird, but you know, it's whatever. Hey, how did you do the avatar thing on your live? It's really cool. Right back. Oh, it's a video. Breaking the illusion a little bit, but yeah, it's a video I edited. And then, okay. Next day, the cat continued constant prowling on the ship's deck. See, like, if it's written as, like, a report, oh, like, weird entry number 5. The cat continues to prowl as if it's, like, on edge, but nothing has been reported. But the lights are flickering in, like, cabin C, so that's a little spooky. I think there's a ghost. Exiting the upper level observation station, he froze when the presence once again erupted into his awareness. In the distance, he could hear panicked cries from the others, intermixed with the scream of agony. He sprinted towards the sound at full speed. It was time to deal with this mysterious intruder. He flew past his crewmates, barely taking notice of the stunned looks of horror each one had plastered on their bloodied faces. The galley was coated with a thick layer of blood and viscera. What's viscera? It had sprayed out in all directions from the body sprawled out across the table. Squirts of blood shot up in the air from the arteries and blood vessels from a massive hole in the man's chest. His body and his body and face were still contorted in agony from the last moments of his life. The cat followed the large pools of blood and entrails. The creature had dragged itself out of the body when it made itself quick to exit. I have a bad question to ask, and I know it's a bad question. Is that considered pregnancy? Did he give birth to an alien? Because it came out of him. I don't think so, because like you wouldn't consider like a parasitic infection necessarily pregnancy. So I think pregnancy has to do with like actually growing the thing in you, not necessarily being implanted with it. And this is like in no way like any type of political statement. I'm just, because the first thing that my brain thought was impreg. So we're gonna move on from whatever thought trail that was. Oh man, checked out the body when it made its quick exit. He followed the gory trail to an opening in a small service shaft. The cat paused. Adrenaline pumped into his bloodstream. Every nerve. Wait, do cats have adrenaline? Can cats get like adrenaline rushes? Can cats have adrenaline rushes? Let's see. Cat possesses a fight or flight anti-stress mechanism called adrenaline rushes. So they do. Okay. Pumped into his bloodstream. Every nerve in his sleek and slender body was on fire. He entered the dark shaft. The hunt had begun. How many parts are there? 5. Okay, we're close. Oh man, okay. Okay, 3 levels down, the cat slowly entered the partially open hatch. The sea-level equipment maintenance area contained rows of old and battered equipment stacked on partially assembled machinery. Dripping water from the coolant system fell from above and echoed over the deep rhythmic hum of massive engine drive. The cat walked under the erratic cling-cling and chains slightly swaying the upper levels. So many sounds called out, but the silence underneath overwhelmed in awe. The cat took in the environment and was aware of the tiniest sounds. As a skilled hunter, he could feel and see everything around, for it vibrated the air like an insect struggling in a spiderweb. The reverberations caused ripples to color to form waves that expanded out, creating shapes and scents and sounds. There were vibrant colors that the man never knew existed and would never be able to see. To the cat, it was a familiar sight and gave him a vast amount of information of his surroundings. Wait, actually, I don't know if that would be a thing. Because, like, I mean, this is based off that one TikTok filter where it's like, look, this is how a cat sees, and it's like all blue. But do you think they would see different colors? Well, then again, even if the filter was able to perfectly recreate what the cat sees, we wouldn't even be able to see it, because if it's something that we can't see in the first place, because it's like specific colors that our color cones can't pick up, even if we were able to get like a one-to-one recreation of it, we probably still wouldn't be able to actually see it. Let's see. It was a familiar sight and gave him vast amounts of information of his surroundings. The cat walked behind the rows of shadowed equipment, following the sounds, looking for the source. His whiskers were long and rigid, capable of detecting micro changes in the air density from the minutest of movements. The maintenance compartment ended at a short service tunnel connected to a massive room that housed one of the ship's retracted landing gears. The condensation from the engine's heat fell like a light rain. Large, dirty, and oily gears and servos lined the chamber walls with a myriad of thick and ribbled cables interwoven throughout the machinery. The landing gear stood tall in the center of the room, cradled by filthy, jointed arms and of several undercarriage support struts. In the corner annex, movement from an unusual shape caught the cat's keen eyes. Coiled in a ball, it sat in a groove of the lower portion of the landing gear. The cat froze and flattened himself to the ground. His piercing yellow eyes studied the beast from bottom to top, looking for any weakness or advantage. The creature was long and thin, like a cobra. Its skin was still moist and glistened from coats of congealed blood from its former host. It had no legs, no eyes, but two small arms and hands with needle-like fingers were at its side. Its long, slender body appeared soft, but it was lined with bulges, striations, revealing it was simply one long and powerful muscle from tip to tail to fang of its mouth. Wait, do they have a mouth? Be right back, need to see my other best friend stream. Okay, be safe. Let's see, alien. Let's spell that right. Alien movie. What is it called? Creature, I guess? Creature. What is that? Like a scorpion? Oh, okay. It's weird. Okay. So it does have fangs. Okay, so I'm assuming these are the fangs. Creepy. Instinct had always been the cat's allies. It provided him instruction on how to hunt, how to fight. It told him what to fear and when to attack. For the first time, it was silent, and the cat was afraid. However, the fear lasted only moments, for it's nearly impossible to scare a true feline into an action. It was his business in life to watch over his territory without consideration to the manner of a trespasser or how the alien creature. He knew what needed to be done. He knew where he must strike. His jump, his bite must be perfect. Its back he must break, but he must be careful. He could smell. It's weird. They keep changing the way this is written. I don't know if y'all can tell, but there's like, I don't know, a different vibe. Like every entry or so. He could smell a poison in its veins in such toxic and nauseous concentrations. He feared even a single drop would mean his death. His bite would be powerful and precise, but not directed at the delicate flesh under its jaw. No, his strike must land on the back of its head where the skull meets its backbone. So the cat just has a feeling on like how to kill it specifically. The monster was still coiled and in the corner, the container of dirty old tools and equipment. Its abdomen was heaving deeply until it regurgitated a straw-colored viscous mucus over the object. The thick sap-like fluid slowly ran down the surface of the object and onto the floor. Wispy streams of smoke began to rise from the glistening coat of slime that was covered the metal and plastic objects. Gradually, the objects began to melt away and collapse as the atomic bonds of the material shattered and separated. If the atomic bonds were separating, wouldn't it explode? Or is that just if it separates a molecule? Or was it atom? I don't even know. Atom! The snake-like creature lowered its head into the smoking pit and began to ingest dark sludge. Time to attack was at hand. This was a moment to strike. Every muscle in the feline's body, tense, muscle fibers pulled and contracted, building up. With as much energy as possible, he pushed off the ground, releasing an explosion of speed. The cat hurried his body through the air and launched himself towards the unsuspecting beast, the whole of his attention, the entirety of his being focused on one spot, on one target, the base of the creature's skull. The cat picked down on the leathery skin and kicked hard with his hind legs against its lower back. The loud, satisfying snaps of vertebrae separating and shattering would have rung out. It did not. The creature gave a high-pitched scream of pain, rolling as it thrashed violently to his side, taking the cat with it. As the two tumbled and crashed into equipment, its slender body wrapped itself around the cat's body and squeezed. Loud snapping of the cat's ribs and femurs from the constricting of the creature's thick body should have rung out. It too did not, although the creature was incredibly strong with the ability to shatter a human sternum. What's a sternum? Hold on. Human sternum. I think this one has like too much like science stuff for me to actually get scared. Okay, so it's like the middle of the rib. Gotcha. Okay. It had not realized the power of the cat's blow. It had not been in vain and had inflicted injury on the beast, hindered the creature's ability to constrict itself, was significantly lessened. It hissed and it used what strength it could muster to squeeze the reaming air out of the cat's lungs. The cat's chest burned from lack of oxygen. With his mouth still firmly clamped onto the beast's hide, he couldn't even let out a growl of frustration. The two adversaries were at a stalemate. It was only a matter of whose will was stronger and whose necessity was greater. The cat's need for air or the creature's desire to overcome its injury and kill. Misfortune had entered the game, and its gaze fell upon the cat. For when a slight burn began to emerge from the cat's mouth, he had no other choice but to relent and release the bite from the creature. If he had not, he would get a mouthful of toxic and acid blood from the wound. The cat continued to kick with all his might, each landing hard against the creature's injured spine, but the blow became weaker. With the last of his strength, he kicked off the floor. The leverage, the twist, the center of gravity represented himself as he crashed into shelving and containers. Under the rain of tools and spare parts, the cat now had his full body weight pressed down on the abdomen, and the head of the long creature still wrapped around his torso. The cat pushed down hard, violently expelling the air out of the beast. It tried to scream, but it found it could not. Its struggles became more pronounced. It did not like the change in superiority. To the cat's surprise, the creature released his grip quickly and uncoiled his body. Instantly, it disengaged from the cat's torso and zipped into a cluttered panel littered with wires and conduits. It scurried up on the wall and emerged overhead. On top of the support strut, it perched high above, looking down on the grated floor. It glanced longingly at its slurry cratered, melted material, then glared back at its foe. Before disappearing into the dark shaft above, it gave a long and furious shriek of hate and anger towards the cat. Does it die? Does the cat die? I want to find out what happens, but God. This is not scary. The scat, man. The cat looked up into the air duct shaft with steel framework where the corpulent tail had disappeared. He stood and fixated on the dark openings with perfect stillness, a trait not obtained from the modifications or tinkering of a lab. This is the work of millions of years of evolution, natural selection. It was still up there, although he could not understand the concepts or ponder even the strange creature's biology. The cat knew it was rapidly changing. It was growing. Even now, its presence was quickly fading from the cat's awareness. His senses were designed to hunt and track prey. It was becoming something that nature dictated was no longer prey to him. However, the cat was wise enough to understand the change in perspective did not go both ways. It would most definitely hunt down and kill him if it so desired. The cat was also aware of something else that had changed. His gaze broke from the upper levels and now peered at the slurry mess of metallic sludge left behind. The expelled enzymes from within the creature had run its course, no longer smoking or sizzling. The beast had been feeding in preparation for rapidly approaching growth spurt and metamorphosis, and it was about to undergo a critical phase of its development. It only had the opportunity for maybe 1 or 2 mouthfuls before its feeding was interrupted. When it emerges from the metamorphosis in its adult form, some will be stunned by its greatness. They may say it's admired for its purity. This cat is like really fucking smart for no reason. Like, I understand it's genetically modified, but genetic modification only works so much. It doesn't, like, just automatically give you, like, oh, yeah, it's here, now you know biology, now you know science, now you know all these big words and stuff. It's just gives you usually, like, something that biology would be able to give you. You cannot biologically be born knowing these subjects and stuff. As cool as it would be, can you imagine a kid comes out and he's just like an expert in all known human biology and stuff, right? But that's not something that happens, so. Like, this cat is so smart for no fucking reason. Its purity and marveled at structure perfection, matched only by its hostility, others might hold admiration for its unclouded conscience, and look upon its nature with envy, a nature devoid of remorse or delusion of morality, and some may even go as far as to come to believe it without a doubt it was a perfect organism. They would be wrong, it was not perfect. Yes, it will be powerful, but only a mere shadow of what it was meant to be. In considering this beast, one must look at nature herself. She is precise, elegant, and full of ingenuity. Actually, nature is genuinely awesome. Like, there was this channel that I used to watch where it was like the math inside of biology or whatever, and it would show you like, oh yeah, look, here are organisms and they're made perfectly hexagonal or whatever because there's this formula that life follows. And there was this video that I watched, I don't remember much about, but basically what it said is that there's a formula of life that, like, it's different per organism, right? But essentially you could find that equation inside of like the cells of a tree that had, like, you know, that's just barely starting to grow, and you can essentially calculate exactly how it'll grow, and that they've done that before. Like they like ran it through an algorithm or whatever to predict how it'll grow or whatever, based on the equation, and they were able to like accurately or like relatively accurately predict how the tree was going to grow. So yeah. I have like a weird love-hate relationship with science where it's like some of this stuff is really awesome, but also like, no. Oh man. Let's see. She's precise, elegant, and full of ingenuity. She has endless variety at her disposal. She is also mad, malicious, and insane, with tendencies to inflict unimaginable pain and suffering upon those who are unable to adapt to her ever-changing moods. She is capable of extreme pointless acts of violence and destruction upon her creations. All must love her, respect her, and fear her. Now, if such an entity did exist in some tangible persona, and it poured all its rage into insanity into one organism, it might have looked something similar to this creature. Nevertheless, in all its potential for perfection and greatness, one requirement had not been satisfied. It must feed before its final metamorphosis into adulthood. It had failed. The window of opportunity to consume the available nutrients from its surrounding was narrow, and it could not be missed. It had given the enzymes capable of breaking down any type of metallurgic matter at the atomic level into nutrient-dense molecules. This would fuel its rapid growth and provide nourishment. This feels like reading a textbook. I swear to God. During this critical time of development, unable to do this, the creature would enter metamorphosis in a nutrient-deficient state, severely impairing its development and growth. Instead of a body that could move in complete silence, stealth, and grace, it would now be slow and awkward in shape and form. A black, armored exoskeletons of razors harder than steel of the ship's bulkhead would now be soft and easily bruised with sickly green hue, the strong and rigid tail capped with a bladed tip that would not whip or snap or stab its victims. It would drag uselessly and limply from behind, absent of almost all dexterity. Gone would be the primal rage that defined its species, absent of the bloodlust and frenzied induced fury. It would take a more reserved approach, hiding within the darkness and moving silently in the shadows. It would be patient, using stealth to pick off its prey one at a time. As the last of his perception of the alien creature flickered out of existence, the cat turned and carried his battered body out the dark chamber. He looked into the ventilation system one final time before exiting. He knew it was growing up. He also knew it would be a fraction of what it could have been. However, there was no doubt it was so very powerful, savage beast. Exhausted, the cat found a quiet and isolated compartment to rest and recuperate, began to relax. The cat began to clean his orange and yellow coat. He pondered the day's events and accepted the battle had not been won, but neither had it been lost. Maybe, just maybe, through his efforts, the human on board would now stand a chance at survival. Maybe the balance had been tipped just enough in their favor for some of them to survive the approaching nightmare that was about to descend on them. He lowered his head and closed his eyes. If they're this, like, scientifically advanced, why don't they make a translator for the cat? Like, that just seems, or like, why don't they just make talking cats and the cat could be like, hey, there was, y'all know that alien thingy? I bit the shit out of it. So it shouldn't evolve as much now, but good luck. I don't have opposable thumbs, so y'all kind of on your own for this. I've done all I can do. He lowered his head and closed his eyes. Sadness lightly settled upon him just before sleep took him away. He knew this creature had trespassed on his ship, brought destruction with it, and this place had very little time left. The giant collection of metal and circuitry and plastic would soon be no more. It had been his home for most of his life, and he had defended it and kept it safe and free from all invaders during that time. When sleep eventually did arrive, regret did not occupy his thoughts. It was pride. He relived his epic battle in his mind, and he knew without a doubt he had fought tooth and nail with speed and balance. He had faced a creature honed and fine-tuned by nature to be the perfect killing machine. Still came away from the battle with both his head and tail held high. Today he met his purpose in life, honored to mandate with that while walked upon steel. Never would a transgressor step foot on his desk and go unchallenged with the corridors of his ship. The cat slept and began to dream. Okay. Alright, I didn't really get much from the story, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, okay, there's an alien and, like, what is it? It's just the Alien movie. And then one of the crew gets attacked and then the thing comes out of it and then he goes and he, like, hurts it, but he doesn't kill it. And then that's it. And then he sleeps and that's the end. It's a story that went nowhere. I don't know, it definitely wasn't scary. Or not as scary as I need it to be, you know? I need that thing to keep me awake, to be like, oh man, at any point in time. Like, here's some that I've, like, read before. The Russian Sleep Experiment, that one's really good. I highly recommend checking it out. The Rake, I've only heard, like little images of it or whatever, so. I don't know, that one seems good, but. Yeah, no. Definitely missing that whole, like, eerie vibe, you know? And then, let me copy this. Last thing I'm gonna do is just read, or let me check. I don't think there are any responses, but let me double check just in case. Yeah, no responses. Alright, cool. Not accepting responses anymore. Sorry guys, y'all missed y'all chance to send me a scary story. You snooze, you lose type stuff. Alright, let me just pick one real quick and then that'll be the last thing I read before getting off, because it is time to go. And I can accurately say I'm honestly not that not as scared as I thought I would be. Like, I don't know, it has to give me that vibe of like, what if it appears, you know, that make me look over my shoulder type stuff to stay in my mind and stuff. Let's see. Favorite Christmas tradition, influencer, don't go spelunking in the Appalachian Mountains. I've heard the Appalachian is always scary, that might be fun. Paradox of Substation 13. I took 7 children trick-or-treating, but now there are 8. Ah, I should probably go, man. I'm a cop on the Navajo reservation. I investigated a killer who steals his victim's skin. That does seem interesting, but it also seems really, really long. I found my friend. I don't think there will be any more updates. Firstly, whoa, that's a lot of parts. The haunted camera. Okay, let's try this one. Wait. Never trick-or-treated in an abandoned house. Okay, this one got my attention more. Let's see. There was an old dilapidated house on the edge of our neighborhood when I was a kid. There were no houses behind it or next to it. Sometimes we'd have to walk past it to get home when we were coming for the next neighborhood over, like we do when we're trick-or-treating on Halloween. Let me put pause on this. There we go. It had an old pickup truck in the driveway, so we often argued about whether anyone lived there or not. We did not see any mail piling up, but we were never around when the mailman came by, so we couldn't tell if they stopped out there or not. The house's lawn was mostly dead grass, so we didn't even know if it got mowed either. That scared the fuck out of me. One of the cats, like, started grooming themselves, and so they opened their mouth, and it made kind of like a, I don't know, like a click sound or something. And it freaked me out for a second because I forgot the cats were here, so I was like, what was that? It's okay, though. I'm not scared at all. Let's see. We didn't see any mail piling up, but there were never... We were never around when the mama came. Okay, dead grass. Never know if it got mowed. One time, Marsha Blackwell said she was walking home from a friend's house when she had to walk past the old house and saw the face of an old lady staring at her from the attic window. She got scared and ran the rest of the way. Next Halloween, 3 of us went trick-or-treating together. It was the first year we were old enough to go out without our parents coming with us. I've never gone trick-or-treating without my parents because I've always had the younger siblings, but also I've never gone trick-or-treating without my parents, so I cannot imagine. We were all 13 years old. It was Marcia, my best friend Brandon, and me. Marcia was a princess, Brandon was Frankenstein's monster, and I was a werewolf. We had almost finished going to all the houses in our neighborhood, and each of us had a pretty good haul of candy. It was exciting to be out without our parents with us. It felt kind of liberating. We were joking around and having a blast when we saw the old house up ahead. Brandon said we should go knock on the door. There were no lights on, so we didn't like the idea. I mean, it was only 8 o'clock, but it was dark out and there were no lights on. It's a sure bet that no one lived there. Brandon said if no one lived there, then no one would get mad if we knocked on the door. There was no getting around that logic, but we were all too scared to do it anyways. My thing is, like, okay, if there's no decorations outside, if there's no lights on, like, what's the point of knocking on the door? You know? Don't mess with things you don't need to, kids. Don't poke a sleeping bear. So, like, what was the reason, you know? But I guess it could have just been like, oh, I dare you to, do that. Friends said we should play truth or dare. And if we got dare, we had to go alone to the house and knock. And if someone answered the door, we must say trick or treat. That seemed fair, so we all agreed. To determine truth or dare, we decided to flip a coin because no one would pick dare if given the choice. Heads would be truth, tails would be dare. All 3 of us flipped a coin, and all 3 of us got tails, of course. Marissa said she shouldn't have to go first because she's a girl. That seemed reasonable. I said it was Brandon's idea, so he should have to go first. Marcia and I agreed, so Brandon was outvoted and went first. Yay, democracy. He walked up the creaking steps to the porch of the old house while we waited in the street and watched. We were ready to run if things got out of hand. The windows were all dark, but there were ragged curtains visible through most of them. There were yellow and red leaves scattered across the yard and porch, lit by the full moon above. We saw Brandon slightly rap his knuckles on the door. Rap, rap, rap. We were giddy with anticipation and a bit of fear. There was no answer. He was just turning to walk back down the steps when the door slowly opened, making a creaking sound that we could hear from the street. We couldn't see anyone from the darkened door where we were. Brandon turned back around and said, trick or treat, an arm reaching out of the dark interior of the home and dropped something into his bag. He turned and ran back when we were waiting at the door as the door creaked closed. We asked him if he got to look at the person. He answered. He said no, it was too dark. All he saw was an arm which was old and withered. What did they put in the bag? You're not gonna check first? I'm back. Welcome back, Kill Streak. Let's see. I'm reading the final story and then I'm gonna get off for the day. It's a story of caution. Do not trick-or-treat at an abandoned house. Let's see. Next, it was Marcia's turn because she lost in another coin toss we did to see who went next. She approached the door just like Brandon did. The steps creaked. She knocked, rap, rap, rap on the door. Again, the door slowly opened, making the same creaking sound. She said, trick or treat. Again, the arm reached out of the door of the void and dropped something into her bag. She ran back when we were waiting and the door closed. We asked if she got a look at the person. She said no, it was too dark. All she saw was the woman's withered up arm. Next, it was my turn. It was fine, I thought to myself. It's just a really old lady. She probably lives on a budget. She doesn't like to use lights. I pictured her sitting in the back room there, reading by candlelight. I felt better about it. I bet she's happy to have some kids give candy out to. We were probably making her day. Oh, that's a cute way to think. I walked up the creaking steps and knocked on the door. Rap, rap, rap. The door slowly opened and I stared into the dark abyss of the house. Trick or treat, I said. The withered old arm protruded out of the dark and dropped something into my bag and recoiled back inside. It was frightening and unnerving, but I stood there to see if I could see anything else, and then the hand had just given me candy appeared out of the dark again with its palm facing up and motioned me to come inside by curling its fingers. A chill went up my spine. There's no way I was going in there. I was ready to be polite, and in case it was just a lonely old senile woman, I didn't want to be rude, so instead of running, I just said, I have to go, thank you. I turned back to leave when I heard Marcia and Brandon give slight screams. I could hear the door close as I walked back to where they were. They told me that after I turned and walked back, a hand had reached out and had slightly run its fingers through my hair on the backside of the werewolf mask I had on. When we got back to my house, We told our mom about the old lady. She said that couldn't be true unless it was some teenagers playing a prank because that old lady had died about 15 years earlier and no one had moved into that house ever since. She said she knew because she was a real estate agent and her office handles a property which they were having trouble selling. We looked through our bags to see if we could tell which candy she had given us, and each of us found one piece of a candy whose wrapper was just covered in dust. All three of these were the same brand. It was a brand that had gone out of business 10 years earlier. No one keeps 10-year-old candy around. Poor old lady just keeps like the ghost bowl of candy. The forbidden candy. And there were definitely no way I was eating it. That night when I was in bed and I was almost asleep, I heard a strange thing. It was the light knocking on my bedroom window. Rap, rap, rap. Marcia and Brendan both told me later that they heard the same thing on their windows the very same night. The next day, my mom was about to throw the 3 candy bars in the trash when she noticed that one looked like it had been opened and carefully taped shut with Scotch tape. She examined the other 2 and they had also been opened and resealed. When she opened them up, she found to her horror that they were all human fingers. She called the police and told them the story. They checked out the old abandoned house. No one was in there, and there was no sign that anyone had broken into the night before. They ran the fingerprints of the severed fingers to the police database and they got a match. All three were from a 12-year-old boy named Sammy who had been missing for 12 months. The police said that they were keeping it out of the news, but there had been a similar case in the state every Halloween for the past several years. I often wonder if I had gone inside the house that night, if I too would have had my fingers tossed into some unsuspecting kid's bag when the next Halloween came around. Damn. Yeah, okay. MC, I applaud you. Because you lived. You lived because you were polite and you didn't cause too much of a ruckus. You just went about your day. And that's the way you survive. So, jar of goodness, you did good. You did good. Oh my gosh. Alright, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. I have to go clean. So with that, trust your gut. Survive, it's Halloween night. Look both ways before you cross the road, otherwise you end up like me, kids. And yeah, have fun trick-or-treating, have fun, getting spooks, but don't go into the woods, don't trust the murder shacks, don't trust Goatman. If there's multiple of y'all, just maybe don't point it out. I don't know, just like be careful, be vigilant, that's all you can do, Oh man, with that, I will see y'all tomorrow for a non-horror stream as we'll go back to business as usual. Wait, you're leaving? I am. It's the end of stream. It was actually supposed to end like 20 minutes ago, but it's okay, because I streamed today. It was going to be 2 to 5. Yeah, because it's 3 hours. Yeah, sorry to go, but my duty awaits. I hope the wounds heal well. Don't worry, I'll just sleep it off. It's one of those, like, you just walk off, so... I appreciate y'all worrying. No worries. I'll be fine. With that, you know the drill. Drink your milk, eat your vegetables, don't talk to strangers, or at least try and use your best judgment, and I will see y'all next time, okay? Okay, bye y'all. Be safe. Happy Halloween. Don't take random candy. Make sure to check out candy. Make sure they're not fingers and stuff. Okay, bye, and don't forget the whatchamacallit. The wallpaper is going to be there for like 7 days, so y'all got 7 days to claim a wallpaper if y'all want to. I'll talk to strangers and bye. No, use your best judgment. Eat some extra candy for me while I'm at work. Okay, bet. If I do come in contact with any candy, I will absolutely devour it, so no worry, radioactive penguin. Alright, bye. Be safe. Bye.